Shrimp Night.
Hello, all you programmers out there in program land. As the beautiful sun sets in the west, prepare yourself for the 300th episode and American debut of the Turkish podcasting sensation, the Chet Program Program with Wet and Chet. I'm Wet Program.
And I'm Chet Program.
And it's time to get
with
the program!
Backrow Bastards. With Bob and Mike.
Alright, let's get this DVD synced up.
Backrow Bastards with Bob and Mike.
Okay, let's sync up this DVD.
Come, listen, enjoy, savor. This is Backrow Bastards with Bob and Mike.
Hey, let's sync up this DVD.
Hey, this is Backrow Bastards with Bob and Mike. They get me so hot.
Okay, let's sync up this DVD.
I'm pretty exhausted, so this is going to be great.
Okay.
This is going to be
Huey
awesome.
and I will try to keep the energy.
My back has exploded recently, so yeah, this is
My
all
back
good.
is killing me from lugging stuff around all day, so this is a perfect. I got a heating pad on. It's great. It feels incredible.
Yeah, I've got this thing going.
What is that?
Whoa.
I don't know.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's awesome.
It like rotates on your
it's
back.
like a massaging rotator back thing.
Yeah.
I feel like a jackass because my back's fine.
Well,
God, dude.
you're not extremely fat or extremely tall, so
That is, I guess, an accurate assessment.
You're
have
right at
either
the
of
top
our
of that bell
ailments.
curve, man. It's-
yeah,
I'm belling that curve.
just a normal fucking bodied person.
yeah, Jesus.
You're literally the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the top dog. So you guys know I've been doing that thing where I have had so many failed podcasts that I decided that I don't know, for content or because I became so depressed doing podcasts in 2020. I was like, this is an idea. I'll like call my ex-girlfriends and see what went wrong.
Yeah.
So instead of that, I'll just call my ex-podcast and see what went wrong.
Nice.
But you guys are unique because I feel like all the other episodes I've done and the other episodes I will do, which I think Huey will eventually be on one more. And Huey has been on one.
As have I was on episode 1.
Well, no, you've been on Shrimp Night. You haven't been on one of these rehashing the old podcast things.
Oh, correct. No,
You were on. You were actually the first Shrimp Nighter that wasn't in Police Academy. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, it was like
Dude, way
Michael
to go,
Winslow, Michael Stettes.
I've been putting it on my resume since first post Michael Winslow
Shrimp Nighter
podcast guest.
Right. So you guys are unique because I was thinking I didn't think that either of the podcasts that I had with both of you, which were before I actually started podcasting.
Yeah.
I didn't think either of them would be very good if it was just one-on-one us talking about it, because I didn't know even if there's that much to talk about. But I was like, I'll just have both of you on because you guys are almost pre-posting anything on the internet. Huey, we had one. It was called the Chet Program with Wet and Chet.
That was
right?
the Chet Program with Wet and Chet.
Yeah. See, I don't even fucking remember the name. And Mike, me and you had
Backrow Bastards.
Backrow Bastards. Right. Now, I looked it up on Facebook right before we started. I looked up my name and the title of the show. There is evidence of Chet Program being the first episode being posted on Facebook. I do remember that.
Oh, okay.
Mike, we never posted Backrow Bastards literally anywhere. I don't
because we almost didn't know what how to do it. We just started recording it. We said we're going to record a bunch and then upload them.
Right.
But then I don't think we even had any awareness of like who would host these. It wasn't as easy as it is now.
This is I think this is pre. Do we record that pre YouTube? Like, did YouTube exist?
I'm sure YouTube existed.
It had to, because we've known each other since YouTube existed. I feel like that's like when we started to know each other.
Probably.
Either way, I can't find evidence on Facebook, and that's my oldest social media of Backrow Bastards.
Right.
But
for a second, I thought we did have something, and then I'm remembering actually, I'm thinking of images of the Breakfast Popes. Which is
right. I did have technically a podcast with Mike that never recorded an episode.
Right, which was the Breakfast Popes.
The Breakfast Popes.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to put that in the title too, because I was gonna be like the Chet Program and the Backrow Bastards. It's already long enough, and the Breakfast Popes. We didn't even have a premise for the Breakfast Popes.
I mean, did Chet Program have a premise?
It was a movie I think it was a movie podcast, right?
That's the original idea for Chet Program was I was driving around in Towson, and I remembered that Wes lived right near me. And I was like, man, Wes has a lot of Chet energy. And I didn't really
Wes is a mutual friend of all of ours.
Yeah. He's all three of our friends. And I was like, man, I feel like, but he's got like positive Chet energy. And then I started to build on that, and I was like, what if this guy's name is Chet Program, and the only reason he created like a self-help program was because his name is Program. So it's the Chet Program with Chet Program. And then I brought that to you at some point, and you were like, what if Wes isn't even in it? And we just start, because you and I had been talking about Richie Rich for the longest goddamn time.
Like it wasn't had anything to do with that. We were just talking about Richie Rich in general, like as a film.
As you do.
We were having a real cinephile conversation.
And then that came up. We were like, well, let's just record this episode. And I was like, well, who will you be in the Chet Program? And you'll be like, I'll be Wet Program.
It's a terrible name.
Whose first name is Wet?
You took
Program is terrible.
Program, dude.
Program.
Where did he find this guy?
Yeah, what? How did they meet?
What luck?
What luck that his best friend rhymes completely.
Did he put out an ad?
I don't. So here's the thing. The first thing that comes up, Huey.
Yeah.
I think Mike being a student of the word, you'll enjoy this. Is a 2012 post from me on Facebook where it's where I think your original Chet Program writing came from. But it's almost like a poem or something. I'll just read it. This is my friend Chet Program and his brother Wet Program. They host the Chet Program and Wet Vet Program, as well as Chet and Wet's jet-setting Vet Jet Program on the all Chet Wet Vet Showgram, a new type of program consisting of show programs where Chet and Wet get wet with Met Gogram, a program hosting Vet from the original Chet Program, pre-Ret Program's Cold War with Met Gogram. See Met, Chet, and Wet get wet while they jet set to Wet's Vet, which isn't a program, but Program, and Gogram are set to get wet pre-vet.
I'm pretty sure, Mike, that had this progressed, you were supposed to be Met Gogram.
Oh, yeah. I was Met Gogram?
You're good. Met Gogram. I think you're right. I think Mike was involved in our minds.
Yeah.
I remember you guys talking about it at Huey's.
We didn't tell you you're on it. We just
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, it only became an episode. We sat at your computer and recorded it.
Yeah.
And then that was the first episode. And it was just us talking about
episode.
It's the only episode. Yeah, that's true. We only did one. And then we either re-released that episode or basically just re-recorded it for Ailbs. It's the only episode of Ailbs that Matt PA is not on. And it was because he blew out his back and couldn't record that week. So you and I were just like, well, let's just do the Chet Program.
We remade a podcast episode?
Yeah. It's like we completely either rehashed it or you just used the exact same recording. And that was what we did for that.
I think we must have rehashed it then. I think
We must have then, yeah. But it was the same exact topic.
the first episode. There's something I want to talk about to interrupt this, but the first episode was literally just our review and discussion of Richie Rich.
Yeah,
It wasn't like it had nothing to do with whatever the fuck I just read.
No,
You know what I mean?
No, it had nothing to do with
it.
that.
It wasn't that. Whatever that
It
was.
wasn't linguistic rhyming nonsense.
No, it was
That-
like me and Huey, not even with voices, just talking about Richie Rich. It wasn't really a developed idea at all.
No, like all this, like the whole thing, like the whole big Chet energy thing with Wes. The thing I kept picturing him saying was, "Get with the program. I'm the program."
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
And just
that.
like that hyper Wes intensity that he can generate, just being like, "Get with the program. I'm the program." I don't know. I always pictured him doing that in a very hilarious way.
So
And then-
Huey, real quick, like define Chet energy.
Wes.
Okay, cool, got it.
Now, this is not an insult to Wes. Will never listen to this.
No.
But like I imagine Chet energy to be either like almost like an adult male that used to be a frat boy. Which
Yeah.
kind of describes Wes, right? I mean,
So is it how people today use the word Chad, but like the bad Chad? Because there's like two Chads that
I
do
guess
different
I don't
bad names.
know. Like,
I think in Huey's mind it seemed more positive than a
yeah,
Chad.
it's a positive.
Chad
It's
seems
not.
like an
It's not
insult.
totally negative, but it's a guy
Yeah.
who you could get irritated with if he
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
being. He's like aggressively positive,
Yeah.
but
I've heard Chad used negatively, like pejoratively and positively.
me too. I don't. Really
I haven't
get-
quite mastered it yet.
I'm not up on the
I'm
Chad
fascinated.
nomenclature.
understood to be mostly negative.
Yeah, you don't
Okay,
want to be
yeah,
a Chad.
like-
I think.
Yeah.
But I've heard people say like if somebody does a good thing, that dude's a total Chad. Like meaning good.
All right.
I've heard
maybe.
that in like the Destiny universe, people will call people who do things that are like incredible a Chad.
Right.
And so I think there's just no cohesion
Maybe it's a
in how
dick
it's being used.
who's really good at things.
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
maybe that's
I think what Huey's saying is like the Chet could be the positive Chad in the world. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chets and Chads, man. That's the way it is.
It's probably not going to work like that. Like fetch is never going to happen.
Mm-mm. No.
Stop trying to make it happen.
Is
Huey.
Chet short for Chester?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is
I
it
don't know,
is it its own name?
I actually don't know.
Like are there baby Chets? Is what I'm asking.
Baby Chets.
Isn't
Are
it the
there baby
dude's
Chads?
brother in Weird Science
There's
named
baby
Chet?
Chads. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's baby Chads.
I guess
All right.
so.
Can you imagine a baby named Chad?
So
It just seems weird.
A baby named Susan. It's weird. I know.
So there's 3 posts by looking up my name and Chet Program I could find. The second one, well, actually there's 4, but the one is just me saying, "Hey, this is live." One is actually Mike,
Ooh.
which I'm surprised I didn't remember. This is February 28th, 2012. It says, "Last night I recorded the theme song to a new podcast coming out, the Chet Program Program with Wet and Chet, starring Timothy Faceneck," that was me, "as Wet Program and Barry Alexander Hesson as Chet Program. She'll be coming out soon. Stoked. Get with the program."
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I remember
That's
because I remember that was kind of the tagline or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that I would never have guessed your name would come up, but you did.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably trying to be supportive, just sharing some.
But no, you
some-
wrote the.
I don't remember that theme
I
song.
don't remember their theme song at all. I
No, I do because I used it in Poetry Betwixt Friendship.
Oh, okay.
It's in the montage scene of when we're seeing the house is the Chet Program theme song.
Oh, that's right. It was
Yeah,
all
I
it was
used-
all there's no lyrics.
There's
Right.
no lyrics. It was
Yeah, yeah.
it was just musical, and Mike wrote it. Yeah,
Yes.
And
Okay,
then-
yeah.
yeah. So it's that, and then there's like me. I want another post about me saying it's available on iTunes. Nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
Yeah, but
I think the Chet Program audience really solidified at any point.
and it really it's amazing because none of these say anything about Richie Rich, which the whole show.
And that's the whole
That was
show.
it. It was me and Huey talking about Richie Rich, mostly about the logistics.
About Dollar.
It was that. I think the 2 I remember was Dollar. Not to redo the episode, but
No,
it was
no.
Dollar and the fact
Let's redo the episode.
we can. It was about how Dollar
Matt
was
Gogram.
genetically mutated so that his fur would have dollar signs on it.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
we
the-
were like,
the
they had to have
implications
genetically
of that.
created this animal.
Right.
I mean,
And-
it's clearly not die.
Right.
I mean, well, the dog in the movie has probably died, but like in
No, 'cause
the
he-
universe
he
of it,
has
that dog
the-
is definitely that.
He has Professor Fiendbean or whatever, right? That's
Yeah,
the name of it.
Yeah,
Like the
he was
he has
genetically
a
modified then for sure.
Genetically modified
Yeah.
dog. But I think most of our time, since no one ever heard that episode, was spent on the mental logistics of having his own McDonald's.
Yeah.
Which was
Right.
a throwaway gag in the movie that was just product placement. But the actual thought process of it, as we broke it down, I remember being pretty funny because it was like I remember you saying, but he's so rich he could just have real hamburgers that are made for him. And then we talked about like all the people that worked at the McDonald's that were inside of his house. Like, do they have to maintain it if he doesn't want McDonald's that day?
They have to work shifts.
They do.
There's
Yeah,
all
they do.
kinds
They
of
just work. Are they just sitting there in that room? It's like it was in a room.
There are some people in that universe that when they drive to work at McDonald's, they have to go through a gate to get on the Richie Rich property.
rich property.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, how much supply do they keep? It's an actual franchise location.
Yeah.
So do they have to go by the franchise standards? And do they, if he doesn't eat all of it, do they keep
What happens then?
replenishing?
And do they have to keep it fresh? Like
Yeah,
it
like
must
that's-
be.
They got to
Yeah.
keep it fresh. And I also imagine a lot of people the amount of staff that are on the Rich compound at any given time is pretty heavy anyway.
Oh,
So I'm
for
sure a lot of staff people eat there too for lunch.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't have to pay for it because it's probably just like everything.
It's probably comped.
Probably
Yeah.
comped.
But
Yeah.
once again, like Huey said on the episode, which I haven't heard in literally
Oh, since 10
20
years. I mean, it's been
10 years. I remember you saying like, but they're the richest. They can-
Right.
Why are they doing
they can have any
McDonald's?
food they want? Like, also the amount of times that Richie wants McDonald's in any given time, they can pay people to literally deliver
Just
it to them.
bring it to them.
Wouldn't
have,
be as
like-
fresh, Bob. Wouldn't be as fresh.
I mean,
You know,
he has
you know what's funny?
helicopters. Like,
Yeah.
in the most recent episode of Atlanta, they go to a rich guy's house and he has a Nando's in his house. And that
that
totally
makes you think of Richie Rich.
flashed me right back to the Richie Rich episode.
I'm surprised they didn't
Chet
add in like
Program.
oh man, just like Richie Rich, you know, like something
right.
like that.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
The great movie that taught us a great lesson, you know, when that at the end when they're like when the vault is just filled with family pictures.
Oh, it just got, oh
What
yeah.
a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It totally
for sure.
changed my opinion about wealth.
Your most I thought your most valuable possessions were here. These are our most valuable possessions. And then of course John Larroquette, the fact that he literally murders a child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like Richie Rich, just because he had bulletproof clothing on and nothing happened.
He
doesn't-
Right.
shot
The intent
a
was
child.
murder. The
he
intent was
intended-
murder.
He shot a child to death, and then he had to work on their property near the kid. It's like,
You're cool with that?
yeah, the
Um,
Riches were okay with him being there.
Yeah. I mean, Richie Rich and Blank Check were both like
Oh, blank check. Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
with money fantasies.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is not saying anything you don't know, but yeah, the logistics of McDonald's are crazy. But kids love McDonald's, so it's what a kid would want to
Yeah.
have a McDonald's in their basement at all times. And yeah, I mean, I remember when I saw it as a kid, I thought it was freaking cool.
I mean,
Right.
hey, it could happen.
it could
That
happen.
could happen.
God damn
Did-
it! Does he get the toys? Do the toys get delivered there?
Oh, yeah, right. Does he get? Are they keep up with the exclusive toys and everything?
Right? Do they even
was
bother just giving him one at a time, or they're like, "Hey, look, the whole line came in just here."
The fact that Richie Rich even cares about the cheapest,
Cheapest
lowest common denominator
$1
toys
toy.
from a fast food restaurant.
God.
Didn't we also Huey? I can't remember if we recorded a second episode and never released it. I remember us talking about Casper. It was me and you. It
Yeah.
had to be Chet Program because
It must
I
have
remember
been.
you obsessing over the Pepsi.
The Pepsi, the fact that he couldn't just open the door.
Yeah,
You can or drink it in the refrigerator.
I remember that. I don't know why we were talking. It must have been Chet Program. I
It
remember
must have been. It must have been an unreleased Chet program that is in.
Oh my God, guys, there are unreleased Chet program programs.
It
was a big deal,
a
man.
Casper one. There's one on Casper. that was never
I
released.
do remember us discussing Casper
Right.
and and how it ties into Ghostbusters, like canonically, and all these other
Yeah.
it's
And then,
And the priest from SNL.
Yeah.
and the whole thing about the dad's clothing is just mind blowing. Like the fact that his ghost has a sweater
yeah,
And glasses.
and glasses. Like, what does that mean? Like, how did
Wha-
that
wha-
happen? You know, because Fatso, Stinky, and Stretch don't have clothes.
They're
the uncles don't
they're
have
just
clothes.
typical looking.
Do they die naked, or do they have no accentuations on their body?
No.
But the dad does, and he goes in the Lazarus pit as a ghost and comes back out fully clothed when he died somewhere else. He
fell off a cliff.
The Lazarus pit brought back his clothes.
Yeah. Is that suggesting the three uncles died naked?
It has to. It has
right? to. I mean, but then Casper must have died naked.
Yeah,
and without. But he froze to death.
But no, he has clothes when they bring Casper to life.
That's true.
Right. I'm just saying I remember talking about the implications of clothes.
Yeah.
What it meant for the afterlife. Like our clothes are like part of our soul when we're walking around, and
dude,
and you don't get legs either. You just get the wisp.
You get the little wispy tail, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't we? It's been a minute, but don't we see the dead mom too?
Yes.
But she doesn't look anything. She doesn't look anything like.
No,
Ghost.
she's like
she looks like a human person.
She's a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't look like Fatso, Stinky, or Stretch.
No, or the husband. She or you know,
just a normal
she just looks
human.
like a normal human being. Like they didn't want to make a cartoon version of her because I guess then the emotional impact of seeing her would be significant.
That would be
if Bill Pullman
commit.
Like, in the middle of that scene was like, "Why don't you look like them? Why do
you look great? Why don't I don't understand?"
Yeah,
man. That's you bringing that up, Bob.
I never thought of that.
You bringing that up has totally reignited my anger at that Pepsi commercial. I had put that behind me.
It's in the movie too, right?
It's in the commercial. It happens before the movie if you have it on VHS. It always plays.
Right, because he reaches in, grabs the Pepsi, but he can't pull it out.
Yeah, he keeps trying to fly out, and he hits it, and then he puts his head in the refrigerator, bangs it, and goes, "Ah, man!" He can clearly hold the Pepsi.
Right. And he can clearly go through the fridge. He can open the door.
There's so many solutions to this problem that it blows my mind.
I mean, look, remember like the scene where they eat, where Casper makes them all food, and they're sitting at the table and eating, and everything's just falling through them.
It's like it's like candy and shit, right?
Casper actually goes out and gets food, and brings it to cook for them.
Yeah.
Can they taste it? Is it all just...
And they can physically hold the food, but when it gets inside, the stomachs can't retain the food.
Well, that falls straight
I'll
through.
give that. That's like ghost thought. You know what I mean? Like, they think they can grab things if they can, I guess.
All right.
Because if not, where's the movie? They can't touch anything.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Could Casper theoretically, like, travel to the center of the Earth?
Yeah.
Unharmed?
100%.
I mean, unharmed. Nothing.
Right?
He's completely invulnerable. He's like outside of our...
Dude, imagine like a core sequel where they have a ghost go to the center of the Earth.
Corspur.
Casper is canonical to the core universe.
Well, he doesn't need air. He can't be crushed, and he can move through all objects.
Yep.
I can actually hear a character in the movies explaining that to someone. Exactly like that.
We could do this without unobtainium. We don't need unobtainium at all.
And he goes down to rescue the people from Core, and he reaches through the door and he grabs their hand, but then he can't pull the hand out of the door.
Oh,
and he goes, "Oh man!"
And then his mom shows up, and he goes, "Why don't you look like a cartoon? Why do you look like my actual mom, and I look like this fucking thing?"
This fucking nightmare. Of
Was it Casper's mom or was it Bill Pullman's wife?
Oh, it must have been Bill Pullman's wife.
It's Bill Pullman's wife. Either way, it's a dead person that does
for sure.
a CGI.
I like to believe that in the Casper universe, all male ghosts look like cartoons, and all female ghosts look like legit human beings. That's the rule.
You're right.
The Y chromosome actually forms the shape of a ghost. So yeah, it's
that's what it is.
I haven't seen the sequels, but in the first movie, nothing refutes that theory.
There you go.
Right? Nothing.
I forgot there were sequels.
There are. It's like,
I watched the cartoon.
It's a Spirited Beginning, I think. That was like a prequel.
Oh, you're right. You're right. A Spirited Beginning. Yeah.
Well, the cartoons aren't canon with the movie, though.
No, the cartoon that came out after the movie, I would think would be.
Oh, really? I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah, because Fatso and Stinky and everybody was in it, and
Oh, okay.
I think they should do a prequel where it's just Fatso, Stinky, and Stretch alive.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is the Beetlejuice cartoon canon, even though it features all of the same characters from the movie?
No.
So
Because
okay, the cartoon's probably not canon.
How would that work? How would it work? Because he's almost good in the cartoon.
Yeah, he's more like a merry mischief maker than he is.
And are
like,
Lydia's parents
tormenting
even
spirit.
around in the cartoon?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They are.
They're a little differently characterized, but they're about the same. Yeah, they're still like yuppie people.
Is
somebody should read a
Odo
book
in it?
I think he is. I'm
Okay.
almost positive. Otho, right?
Otho, sorry.
Yeah.
Odo's from Deep Space Nine. My bad.
Right.
Sorry.
Awesome if he was in
but,
it.
like, somebody should write. I don't know. There's probably an online compendium of cartoons based on movie franchises and continuity.
Yeah.
Remember how Back to the Future and Bill and Ted, both of them added the element of the time machines going into fiction.
Yeah.
It's really
And that was
odd
just
that they both went that way.
Yeah.
Go into books like that.
the cartoons
the science
never.
of that is
Only
unthinkable.
historical fiction, apparently.
It's so weird because the Back to the Future cartoon, they never go into the future. They
Yeah,
are
they really
only
don't.
they literally never go future beyond where they are. It's always past.
Huh.
Which I guess is more. I mean, even that's not even close to the first movie, because in the first movie they go to the future and they meet they do the thing with the. So I don't know, man. It's weird. I'm angry
Yeah.
about it now. I'm getting really riled up about these old cartoons.
The cartoon does technically start when Back to the Future 3 ends.
Yeah,
So, it is Back to the Future 4, the cartoon.
that's true.
It is technically, but you have to go with the canon of watching the movies and assuming that Doc invents ways to go into books,
Yeah.
which is unthinkable.
I mean, I guess not to go too into the weeds, but I mean, if it takes place right after 3, does he Marty, I somehow have a DeLorean again? I mean, how does
it's the train.
They take the train. Yeah.
Oh, they do. They take the train.
It's the
Okay.
Yeah, it's the train.
Okay.
That was the main push. And
guess
Biff
it's
is still
not-
the villain. Biff is Biff the he's a rapist, basically.
Right.
And
In a
he's
cartoon now.
A kid's
Yeah.
cartoon now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waka
it's
Waka.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
It
was a good
it's
show. It
weird
won
that-
Emmys. It won Emmys.
the cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Back to
guess
the
it's not
Future? Yeah.
totally out of the left field because he's constantly talking about how much he loves Jules Verne. So,
To jump
and he
into
named his
books.
kids Jules and Verne. So, I don't know.
Right, but he's going
you've
into
conquered
worlds that don't
time-
exist.
Yeah, once you've conquered time,
Huey, the
What else is
science
there?
of going into a book.
it's
It's not magic, man.
That logic means basically then that universes are created from imagination. That's
Look,
what that means.
guys.
Doc figured it out.
Time travel
Doctor
is
did that.
not
Yeah.
real either.
No, of course. But I
but-
would still say the
But
book thing is
but
more
time
unrealistic.
Still a
I
real
feel like you guys
concept.
just were raised on Back to the Future and not the Page Master. All right, so
I'll tell you
What?
this. Look, for some reason, I have less of a hard time believing Bill and Ted's phone booth could go into books because, it's from-
that
it's
I agree.
from so far in the future. I don't know. Maybe it has. They figured that out. But Doc being the character we know.
yeah. No,
by the end
I'm
of-
with you.
You know what I mean? I don't know how that man could figure. Also, just so happened to figure out that.
You know what though? Here,
Hang on a clock on his toilet.
Yeah.
if Doc continues to be concerned with the idea of going into past and fucking things up forever, then deciding well, wait a minute, if I go into books, I can't fuck anything up. So that's why he decides to
Yeah.
get, obviously, what's the science? Who knows? But
And maybe
The morality is way more secure, is what you're saying.
yes,
Entirely.
And maybe
Yep.
maybe they're
You're
not
right.
in the book. Maybe what he's creating is some sort of pocket dimension of this book where this section of it is real.
This also makes me realize something. The fact that Last Action Hero wasn't the big hit they wanted it to be, that should have been the cartoon where the ticket takes the kid in a bunch of books and shit, right? That would have been
Yeah.
fun.
or
that
even
makes-
other
yeah.
movies if you can get the property rights, I guess.
Right, but that makes way more sense. The ticket taking him into fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That's what that is, more so than
Yeah.
the
Yeah, and that's magic.
yeah,
right. We don't need an explanation of how that works. It just
Right.
does.
Both
thing
Bill
is-
and Ted. Bill and Ted does seem to be technology based,
It
as
is.
does Back to the Future, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
Advanced.
But they just made
Hero
Bill
wasn't-
and Ted so the technology so far in the future that it just could be magic.
right, and that's
And then
sure.
right.
it's the
Now-
Thor
now,
concept.
The live action Bill and Ted did not do that. Just they only traveled through time. There's a live action Bill
oh.
and Ted TV show.
There was a TV.
Oh shit.
There's a live action TV show. Yeah.
Huh.
And I
Was
think
it?
it was one season, but they did not travel into books. I remember that.
I mean, I guess you could argue that the Universal Studios Halloween show sort of played off the same thing. Like, it makes Bill and Ted assholes, basically. And they're not really the same
That's why I
characters.
never liked it. I saw
Yeah,
it,
I
but I
don't-
never liked it.
But it pulls from like every kind of popular pop culture from the previous year to
Yeah,
build its little variety show.
Yeah.
So
The
so
last
that is
time I saw it, they were like talking about I think Pam and Tommy. Like they actually like talked about.
well, that like just came out, or do you mean the sex video thing?
I mean the original Pam and Tommy.
original sex video.
oh, okay.
When I
Yeah.
saw it, they were talking about the remake of Vacation.
Good lord.
that super popular thing.
Well, so yeah, like those shows were like written by someone who's never actually watched the movies.
Yeah, it's just
like at all, and they just assume Bill and Ted were these cynical fucking stoner dickheads
and they're
which is
like
like the
so the
opposite
opposite of that.
of what
Like
the
the most
concept of Bill and Ted is.
Optimistic people ever.
Yeah, they stopped it though because they made like they made some offensive jokes or something.
Yeah,
canceled
yeah.
the
They
whole
were
thing,
pissing
like,
people off.
They
The
were
people
pissing people off. Yeah.
gave them the old boot.
Anyway, that what we just did was basically an episode of fucking Chet Program.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
there you
before we move on. If he can go into books, there's really no reason why he couldn't go into movies, right? Like,
I mean, Doc
what's
Brown?
yeah, right. So, like, what would be the barrier that would allow him to be like, we can go into a book, but we can't go into a movie?
I don't
Like, they're
know.
both fictional worlds. Like,
I'd have to
know?
like watch it again to understand if that wasn't an.
We can only do HD
might have
DVDs, Marty.
They might have went into movies. I can't remember. I think it's a children's program, and they probably didn't want to be like. It seems more
was-
educational to do
Of course.
books.
Yeah,
You
it was
know?
probably trying to rip off of Magic
School
School
Bus.
Bus.
It was
Yeah.
the Magic Train from Back to the
I mean, and there's not enough history. There's not enough history that you just
Yeah.
couldn't have stuck with time.
right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Like if the kids wanted to know about something, go back to when the book would happen. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's
yeah.
weird.
I guess.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's weird, and I don't think that's available officially anywhere either. Still to this day,
It might be on YouTube. People
might-
might have
but I
like
mean,
done
like,
like
it hasn't been
VHS rips.
released.
So no official. Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean,
official.
somebody went through, and I don't know if they finished all of them, but somebody was going through and remastering episodes of Mighty Max all themselves.
That's
And
really?
I saw like the 4K HD like title sequence, and it was phenomenal. Like, this guy put so much time into it trying to restore the cartoon of Mighty Max. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
I know. I'll send you a link.
Yeah. How come that's not a live action movie? I mean, come on, Tom Holland's just sitting right there. Like, I don't want to see Uncharted. I want to see a Mighty Max movie.
Yeah.
man.
And I want Patrick Warburton to be Norman.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can see that.
perfect.
I can
Yeah.
totally see that.
He'd have to buff up a little bit, but yeah, he could do it.
I
He's
mean,
still
there-
big
I
guy.
want a Polly Pocket spinoff.
there's so many weird cartoons from our childhood that I kind of just want to see live action, even if they're going to
Oh,
be terrible.
man.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Bucky O'Hare.
God, Cowboy, it would look so bad.
It would look fucking scary. It'd be,
Yeah, it'd be terrifying.
intensely
Did you see?
scary.
Did you say Sorry to Bother You?
Oh, yeah,
I
yes.
haven't seen it.
Yes,
You know, like
I
the horse people in the
horse-
end.
Well, Jesus, Huey, you just spoiled it for months.
Whatever.
It's okay, man.
But that's like the biggest third act surprise that ever happened.
You're right. I'm sorry. Edit that out,
It's
Bob.
been a few years. I mean, like, it's my fault
It's
at this
true.
point.
If you
That's
haven't-
true. It came out like 2016.
It
So
was
I
like,
thought it was
if you
the same
watch
territory.
the movie, there's nothing in the movie about horse people up until you see
Up until
the
it
horse
just
people.
suddenly is happening.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
until it's like horse people are in this movie.
I
And they're
didn't.
like,
I'm sorry,
they're
Mike.
like animatronic
okay.
horse people. But you're right, Huey. That technology to make the Cowboys of Moo Mesa, I'd
It would
watch
be a
that.
nightmare, dude.
Yeah, that'd be great.
My favorite part about, not favorite part, but a thing I liked about Mighty Max is the last episode loops the series. And I always thought that
really?
was really cool. Like,
You know-
the very last episode where he starts, spoilers, when he's like saving the world.
Mighty
I get it, Mike.
No. Bob
I
was
know,
the
I
one
know.
giving you crap for that. I'm cool with it. But I think the episode ends, and when he like saves the world, he then falls through a portal and then comes out in the convenience store where he gets the hat. Like I think it just does a perfect.
So it's a
freaking
constant loop forever.
Yep, it's a constant
Right
loop
now,
forever.
Mighty Max is reliving the same life we witnessed back in the day.
Yes,
That's what happens in the Aquabats TV show. The
Oh, okay.
Aquabats TV show goes a full, I think it's 16 episodes, and in every episode there's a cartoon for 2 minutes, and it turns out that the cartoon is the next season, and at the end of the cartoon, it's the beginning of the show, and the end of the show is the beginning of the cartoon.
Whoa.
I was like, this is crazy that they even did that, but yeah, it was really cool.
There's only 2 seasons of Mighty Max? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's when
I
you're a
would've guessed
kid, it
longer.
seems forever, but it's not.
Also, Tim
Was it-
Curry,
was it 25
Tim Curry
episodes?
did a voice on Mighty Max?
Probably the bad guy, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, he might have been. Was he Virgil? Was he the little
Virgil?
owl?
Yeah.
No, he was the Skull Master.
Oh, he was. That's
That
the,
makes
that's the
more
evil bad
sense.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
and
the evil bad guy.
Frank Welker was the Lava Lord. If you
Ooh,
know
the
Frank
Lava
Welker.
Lord.
A sub
How
bad guy
exotic.
then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I love
admit-
simple concepts like that. I love simple adventure concepts. Like I love that conceit. And the hat was basically a Sliders hat. And you know.
I feel like if we went on with Chet Program, we would have easily had several Sliders episodes.
There's no doubt in my mind. Dude, we had a whole shirt range based on our Sliders
I know.
in jokes.
I should make them now. I should.
Oh
really
my
make
God,
Sliders
dude.
shirts now.
Seriously, if you make a shirt that says I survived the Q virus and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
The Q virus sits a little too close to home now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
I actually they put all of Sliders on Peacock.
Oh,
It's on
okay.
Peacock.
Oh, damn, dude.
So I started rewatching it, and yeah, it's just as awesome as it always was. Obviously, I
Dude,
mean,
okay, well,
I
all
didn't
right.
make it to where it falls apart.
Yeah.
Halfway
It very
through
clearly
season
falls apart at that
3.
point. But dude, like, okay. Will Sasso is my innkeeper on a shirt. I will buy that.
All right, I'll figure it out. I'll
I'll get it sorted with my t-shirt people.
well, I mean, yeah, I'll try my best to make it look like
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But
Is Peacock free?
there is a free version of Peacock that has mostly commercials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, you also pay and you get less commercials. I think.
Gotcha.
I have
Okay.
the premium version, and I still have commercials sometimes. So
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. I think Hulu's like that too, and so like,
well, there's like premium and then pro or something where it's just like you have to pay a lot to get no commercials.
man,
Hulu has the same thing, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still seeing commercials on Hulu.
Sliders
That's the
though
only place I see commercials.
totally holds up. My plan is to finish it. I want to even hit the.
You want to do season 4 and 5?
Yes,
Those are brutal, Bob.
Good
Brutal.
God,
I
they're
want to
the-
get through
they're
the
the-
Cro-Mags.
they're the Sci-Fi Channel seasons, right?
Dude,
Yeah.
the first episode of season 5, they lost both of the brothers. What are they? Jerry O'Connell and his brother. They lost both of them from season 4 to 5.
They couldn't.
So the
even
first
keep
episode,
the non-famous O'Connell.
yeah, they lost them both. And
Jesus Christ!
it starts off with them like 3 of the characters, the other 3 characters, run past the camera, turn on the timer. They're like, "We're gonna jump now," and like get Quinn and whatever the other guy's name is, and they are shooting, and they just go, "Go, go!" You don't see their faces, and then the 3 characters jump in, and then they're like, "Quickly jump in!" They back their way in up against the camera. You don't see their faces. They jump in, they're flying through the thing. They're like, are they in? They look back, they're like a mile behind them, so you can't see any details. And then they fuse into one person, fall out of a thing, and then a new actor plays both those characters. That's how they answer that. It's the
That
only
is
time.
wild.
It's depressing, honestly.
Dude,
it's fucking
It
depressing.
went to hell. But those first 2.5 seasons are fantastic.
Yeah, that's like what television is to me. Is those first
Yeah,
2.5
man.
seasons?
Yeah,
you know.
I was
But I
was
think of
very
like
into it.
great television that I truly love.
It's so rare that you get like a dark sci-fi that's also kind of like a light comedy. Like all the things just work together in that. I don't know, and all the characters, they have really good chemistry.
Yeah,
And
John
also,
Rhys
I
Davies.
remember even as a kid, the idea of Rembrandt being an accidental cast member of it. I remember that as a kid. Even I was like, the fact that he just falls in.
He has nothing to do
drives
with
into the
science
hole.
or
Yeah, he has no clue what this shit is, and that he just has to become part of this.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's the only
I
one who
always
sees
love
it through the end of season 5.
Yeah, Rembrandt ends up being the fucking sliders guy.
The slider.
He is the slider, right? He probably still does conventions and stuff. I'd love to meet him one day.
Cleavant Derricks, yeah, man.
Cleavant
Me too.
When did John Rhys Davies drop off?
At the end of 2.5 seasons in,
when
John
he
Rhys
leaves.
Davies left.
Oh, okay.
His leaving is when the show like loses its
The show
mind.
takes a real downward turn, and it's not awful until the 4th season.
Until 4.
It sort of limps along to the end of the 3rd season, but those first 2 are great.
They aired the show out of order too. Like on Peacock, it's still out of order. It's in air order. So stuff doesn't make sense. You know, like how one episode like begins with the shark dimension.
The shark
dimension.
You know, the shark dimension.
But like another episode after that ends with them falling into that dimension. And it's like it doesn't make any sense because they were
they released the DVD cop. I bought that was the first DVD I remember buying. It came in that weird multi-layered.
How much was it, Huey?
On
79
sale. It was at least $80.
Yeah.
I
remember
it. Fuck.
It was season 1 and 2.
Remember how bad that box was too? It was like that foam.
And it was really tall. It was really tall, right?
And the discs were in it like this. You had to touch the back of the. God, what a terrible thing! But I was like, this is great. I have sliders. So I watched that, and that was in release order. There was nowhere you can get the show in its proper order.
Disney Plus fucked up DuckTales.
Yeah, they still
they're out of order, and they're still out of order. It's your show. How are you doing this? You know,
I mean, dude,
so weird.
And I mean,
I think because they consider the air date is like for most companies is like that's solid.
That's the one thing. But I mean,
that's what we go by no matter what.
It would take someone like 1 hour to sort this out, but
where they go.
It's I don't know, man. Like dude. But Mike, did you watch the new? Bob, have you seen the new DuckTales at all?
Yeah, I saw some of it. It's good. I like
the 3rd season. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking incredible. It is a love letter. It is a love letter to all the 90s like Disney shows, and they all get like a call out. Fucking Bonkers gets a background call out.
I'm a huge Bonkers fan. I know Bonkers
I was like,
always took a whipping.
Who gives a fuck that Bonkers is in like a quick screenshot flash pass?
I remember back in the day, I was a fan of Bonkers, and everyone was like, fucking, all the other shows were so much more popular than Bonkers because he was kind of the Tex Avery Disney show.
He was a very classic kind of cartoon.
Like obviously Darkwing Duck was number 1.
Yeah.
But I was like, I kind of like Bonkers, guys, and I just remember my friends going like, fucking
fuck Bonkers.
I have no idea what Bonkers is. It's not even on my radar.
He's kind of like a cat. Imagine a cat that is like Roger Rabbit, but he's a cop.
He's a cop. Yeah.
That's basically
and that's basically it. He solves cartoon crime.
His partner is a fat guy who's grumpy, like Bob Hoskins.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if it almost was pitched as a Roger Rabbit show, and they were like, we can't do Roger
Rabbit.
Just make a new Roger Rabbit.
That we'll make Bonkers Bobcat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, the fact that we're talking about this leads me to the second thing I want to talk about before we get to Backrow Bastards was, this is a perfect time to talk about it, GG Source.
GG Source!
Yeah. We haven't
GG
talked
Source.
about, I don't think together we've talked about it ever.
No, we never have.
No.
That was just a shared bit of trauma. We all
I mean, it's not trauma.
It wasn't traumatic.
We basically traumatized this guy we didn't know.
Yeah, the guy with my name.
Right. So yeah, what was GG Source? It was a website, right? It was a media website.
Yeah. It was on Facebook, God, fucking like 10, maybe more than 10 years ago. I just searched my own name and I came up with a guy who has my first and last name. And I was like, oh, hey man, how's it going? We have the same name. He's like, that crazy? And then I just started chatting with this dude. And then one day he's like, I'm going to start I guess it was like a pop culture website or news source. I don't really know what it was.
Probably like an Ain't It Cool News ripoff.
Or a Kotaku. Something
Kotaku,
like,
that's probably,
yeah.
And it was called GG Source. And then I aimed him at you guys. And then we all three at least wrote one article.
Yeah,
and then there was like 4 other people who were writing, and they only ever wrote, I don't know what they ever wrote. Yeah, I feel like it was just us 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. we dropped the fucking ball
Hard.
like
Poor.
hard.
That
as
guy
a
never
rock.
spoke to me again.
Hey, we weren't being paid. All right.
We weren't
True.
being paid, but I mean, like it was like each of us did one thing, and then left this guy in the dust for the rest of our lives.
I mean, I don't know if I even ever spoke with the guy directly.
No.
So
we didn't.
like, yeah. So I mean, I'm getting no feedback.
Yeah.
You know, my motivation was pretty
Pretty minimal.
Well,
yeah.
okay, Mike, what did you write? I remember it was the.
We each
sit-bomb,
had a
right?
writing column name.
Yes.
I don't remember what that column name was, but I was writing about the episode of Family Matters where they go back in time.
Right.
You wrote yours was Sit Bomb.
Sit bomb. Okay.
That was the
Yeah.
column name, and the
Yeah.
first
Right.
one was about that. Because I remember
Yes.
specifically reading it. If I'm not mistaken, you were like acting like how the mom was just casually like, "Oh, they're in the 1800s." Like
yeah.
in that
Well,
episode.
and again, this is my Casper getting a Pepsi out of the fridge. They kept on being like, they better get back soon, or they're going to be late for dinner with the
dinner, yeah.
neighbors. And I'm
It's a
like, they
time
can't be
machine.
late. They're in a
It's a time machine.
Dude, I still remember you bringing up that because you posted a clip of it. It's that little part at the end where it was supposed to be like an immersive thing where Urkel pops up on your screen. They shoot a cannon at your TV and it breaks the screen.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And,
like
it
a
was
3D,
like-
a 3D glasses thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I had never seen that, and it was so weirdly done.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked really
Oh,
good.
I'm sure it looks
Yeah.
rough as shit. I just like that the show got to a point where time travel was completely casual. Like,
Yeah, and nobody cared. Everybody's
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's
the
Steve.
son was
It's
like,
the
I'm
Key
not
and
gonna
Peele
go.
sketch,
I don't want
right?
to miss Baywatch.
Right.
it's the Key and Peele sketch, you know, like Urkel holding everybody hostage. It's like,
Yeah.
the show has to be this.
Get out of my house,
Yeah,
Steve.
Right. Exactly.
That was the best, man.
Yeah. I mean, season 9. I mean, I've told this, I've preached this. I even threw an event at the Wind Up Space once. The season 9 of Family Matters is truly insane. The entire season 9. It's like they have no clue what to fucking do. It's all sci-fi shit, and it still to this day it angers me that Fuller House reflects none of it.
Yeah.
Fuller
it
House
doesn't.
takes place in a continuous future where Steve Urkel made all these inventions that should have changed their lives.
Which
in
means
the interim.
which means Steve Urkel died a tragic death at a young age, as
has to
did
be.
all of his research.
Well,
'Cause
nobody's
his parents
smart
did-
enough, right?
His parents didn't care about him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So, like if Steve Urkel just died, his parents would have just chucked that shit out. So
They never mention him. They don't. I never watched Full House to extent.
they do mention him. There is a passing reference to Steve Urkel. I think Stephanie says something like, they're talking about Kimmy maybe, and they're like, at least it's not Steve or something. They totally do make a reference to Steve.
But they don't denote if he's dead or not. Though.
No, they don't.
Okay. I'm saying in my mind, in Fuller House, Steve Urkel should be like a net positive Elon
Oh,
Musk.
I agree.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I'm saying that because he's not, we have to assume he died.
But his inventions that we've seen
Yes.
should have that show should take place in a reality with things unlike we have now.
I agree, but
Yeah.
because he died and the only people who ever saw
Well,
them
you're
was
just
the
saying that.
Winslows.
You don't have proof he's dead.
No, you're right. I'm just
This is
saying
the
that-
proof.
that because clearly his inventions didn't change the world, we have to assume that he
he's
died,
dead.
that he's dead, and that the only people who ever saw his inventions were the Winslows.
Dude,
they don't know
wait.
what the fuck to do with this shit.
You know what would be a crazy idea is like I don't know how you get Jaleel White to ever put those glasses on again. Have him make like one 90-minute movie where you talk about the interim between the end of Family Matters and Fuller House and the beginning of Fuller House, where his inventions like end up like creating some sort of horrific dystopia. And at the very end of the movie, he's like, the only way to end this is I have to go back and stop myself.
Yes.
And so Steve Urkel decides, like, I can't let the world have these things.
Dude,
Right.
he goes back and right before he kills himself, he says, "You did do that."
he like holds up a phone and
No,
shows video of
he
the
runs
apocalypse.
up, and he
And
says,
Steve
"Did I
Urkel
do that?"
goes, "Did I do that?"
Yes.
Yes.
And then it goes to black, and then the theme song for Fuller House is over the credits.
Right.
And that's how we know it's all
God.
complete. The saga's
God.
and that movie is like made by like David Fincher or something. It's not
Dude.
a sitcom
Right.
movie. It's like a
Right.
fucking movie.
Maybe that's the only way Jaleel White would do it. You know,
Oh,
It's
yeah,
such a
like,
such
they're
a
like, we're gonna
radical
do this
pitch.
for
It
real.
might.
it might work.
But nobody cares about that problem. You know what I mean?
No.
No, I never heard anyone else bring up this problem. Like, wait a minute, didn't Steve Urkel invent fucking robotics that work?
Yep.
He
Like-
invented-
like
dude, he
AI
invent-
that's like 40 years ahead of its time.
It's
time
not. We don't even
machine.
have the Urkelbot is still beyond what we have now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He invented shrinking technology that works.
He invented a time machine. He invented a machine that can transform who you are as a person. Dude, you can put another person's DNA in the machine and become that person.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
What is that's technology? I don't even know what that is.
This
That's
is like
I'm saying, how,
it's
about,
so
how much
cra-
better would Fuller House be if they just had that stuff and they didn't say, they never explain it? You just have to remember that Steve Urkel is in universe and invented all.
I would be happy if it just all the technology was like Urkel Co. You know, like all their phones say Urkel Co.
Your
Like,
U phone. Yeah.
yeah, he becomes the Apple, the U phone. There you
YouTube.
go.
YouTube.
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, see that I have to go to Irk. Not work. He perfected.
Steve Urkel's presence is so influential that the word work has become Irk.
We've renamed Earth to Earth.
Earth with a U
Oh,
and an R without the A. Yeah.
it just angers me. It's the fact that you talked about the reference to him is so passive. I'm like, no, it should be fucking. There should be a
Massive.
whole episode. There
Right.
should be at least one episode totally dedicated to him.
Yeah, no, he's dead. He's got
Or
to be.
have Reginald Vell Johnson come on and talk about how he killed Steve because he couldn't take it anymore. And then
I saw what he was
Hey, Mr.
becoming.
Winslow, do you still see that Steve Urkel?
killed
No.
Every night in my dreams.
And my life's been better for it.
Or they visit Carl Winslow in like prison, and it's like the end of Apocalypse Now, where he's going insane because he killed Urkel, and for his crimes of taking away all this technology from humanity. Because Steve was the only one that could figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But if Steve never did anything on any sort of public stage.
He was all private. Yeah.
Right. Like, it's not like he ever showed the world this stuff, and the internet didn't exist. So, like, all his inventions were just shared with the Winslows. I think Steve's parents actually might have been scientists who were always out, like doing, or doctors. They were just like always gone.
They were never shown.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they ever have an appearance.
No. It's funny too that we're talking about the continuity, because Fuller House cares a lot about its own internal continuity.
With
a
Full
lot.
House.
And the only reason I know that is because the woos that come from the audience, they're clearly supposed to be, I remember that type woos. That's what it's supposed to be. So, like, at one point in time, they go inside Kimmy's house and they recreated it exactly. And Kimmy's house is nuts. There's like a Velcro wall. There's like swings. Like, it's no human being would ever live in this place. It's an absolute madhouse inside there.
Are you saying it didn't change from the original to now? It's like exactly
Based on the
same?
reaction, I believe that's why they reacted that way.
Okay.
Because, like, the way that they're acting is like, oh yeah, the episode where we saw Kimmy's house and it was insane was a really classic, funny episode. And so when they had that moment of like seeing that house and it hasn't changed 20 years, and she still lives like that. That's how that reaction was like supposed to be. And they only referenced Michelle a couple times. They tried to get her out, but they could never get they couldn't get them.
Ah, dude, this is.
I mean,
weird.
at one point in time, at the end of the very first episode of the first season of Fuller House, they talk about like, it's a shame Michelle's away at college, and couldn't come out for Thanksgiving dinner. John Stamos literally looks at the camera and he goes, "Come on now, we'll have fun." Like he does a little like plea to them, like, a fourth wall break to say like, "Come on, Olsen twins, it'd be fun."
We'll have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's off. It's done now, right?
After 5 or 6 seasons, I've watched all of it.
Has there ever
You
been
know-
discussions to do a Family Matters, like a Family Matters? I don't know what you call it, but
And which Harriet would you use? I guess,
well, it wouldn't matter.
right, as long as they got somebody.
Yeah, they could actually just use a new actress as
Just
part of the joke.
That
Harriet-
would be a good part of the joke. Yeah.
Harriet changes every season in the new Netflix show.
I was just looking, and I didn't realize that Urkel had an appearance on Step by Step as well,
Step by
and
step.
he's referenced in Boy Meets World.
Yes, it's all.
He says he
same
sends a chain
universe.
letter to his friend Corey, and then in an episode, Corey's like, "Oh, I got a chain letter from my buddy Steve," but they never overtly say that they're in the same thing.
Okay. So the Boy Meets World. So that means
And
when
that
Girl
means the
Meets
Girl
World
Meets
came
World
out,
that should have all the Steve Urkel.
it should have all the Steve
advances.
Urkel tag, unless he died, which is what I think happened.
It's the only explanation.
It's the only
He
explanation.
either died or he got like some like Dr. Manhattan level. He's like, I don't even want to be here.
Right.
If,
He
if I
transcends
can't be with the
humanity.
family mattering.
Him inventing teleportation or space travel in his backyard is not unfeasible from what we've seen.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
could have just left Earth.
He's just had
Sure.
enough. He's out having adventures.
Yeah. Isn't
That's
and
what I
then
choose
there's,
to believe, Mike.
man, it'd be kind of cool if like him and Alf were like, traveling the universe.
Oh yeah, he's helping Alf get back home.
Well, there's that theory, the Tommy Westfall theory. Did you ever see that? The thing from the St. Elsewhere, the kid.
Sure. Oh yeah, I did
The
know
kid
about
from
that.
St. Elsewhere, and then like people have connected all the different references from different TV shows.
Yeah,
They all
it basically
exist.
means like every single TV show that was popular in the
yeah.
90s.
and 80s.
Yeah.
Like they're all
And
in the
80s, yeah.
same universe, which makes no fucking sense. But
None.
Steve would have been still one of the most influential figures in all
He's
of those
basically
universes.
Rick. He's like Rick of Rick and Morty without
Yeah.
any of like the corruption.
That's true.
Honestly, he should just show up as a character on Rick and Morty. I can't believe they haven't made that reference.
And like
that
straight up
Urkel-
rival Rick every
yeah,
single.
like the only being in the universe that can rival Rick's intelligence is like a 40-year-old Urkel. It's Stephen Urkel. He did invent all that stuff at what age?
Yeah. No, he's
like
a
Rick
genius.
level shit.
He's an insane genius. An insane
I like how we
genius.
talk about it when it's literally like the worst written television.
Right. And
Yeah.
and all he's doing is like pouring liquids, and then suddenly he can go through time. Like, I like what? Okay.
But that's why it's great, because they didn't know what to do.
Right.
Wasn't this
Oh, it's
about
so good.
family that have matters? Time travel. Is this relatable? Yeah.
That's relatable.
It's not relatable to anyone
No one, dude.
at all.
It is pivoted.
Carl
We wanted a
Bed and
show with of a African American family, wholesome show. That's what we want. And they're bringing in freaking Jaleel White dressing up like an Asian stereotype to beat people at karate. Like it's insane.
I
Remember
put
the
on my
Halloween
karate
episodes?
gi.
The fucking Carlsbad and Stevel.
Oh my God.
Damn, it's so good.
What did Reginald Val Johnson think about the day they approached him about Carlsbad?
I mean,
Oh my
he
God.
probably just took the money at that point.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
It's like, is this what we're doing? All right.
whatever. Let me know when Carl is.
If they just made a show called Carl and Steve now,
yeah.
and it's about what they're doing together, that'd be great. And you could make it a Rick and Morty kind of show.
Do you remember the episode where they met Santa? They met the actual Santa Claus. And I remember that because I was like, okay, that's not Steve's doing. Like, Steve didn't invent something that could find Santa or something. They just met Santa
Yeah.
that exists in the real world. Which
I'm going to
opens
argue the
up-
Christmas episodes aren't canon. I don't have much to support that, but I'm going to argue Christmas episodes.
How?
Aren't.
There's nothing to support that.
I mean, yeah, they're just so insane, though. Yeah, but
As the
Not
writer
more
of
insane than
sitcom,
the
what do
show,
you
I
have
guess.
to back this up?
There was the episode where the guy from Die Hard 2 is, he does like a cameo, and then they make jokes like because Carl Winslow.
Oh, because
They
he's
make
in
a bunch
Die
of Die
Hard.
Hard jokes and stuff. Like they're like, and they all that episode almost suggests that Carl Winslow is the same character as he is in Die Hard, but
right.
That means Carl Winslow shot a kid.
that does mean Carl Winslow shot a kid. Yes.
In
And it
LA.
was Urkel. That's why he's so guilty. He keeps his kid around. He didn't kill him.
Yeah, his
He
guilt from
maimed him.
killing that kid in Die Hard is why he puts up with Urkel at all.
Oh
Right.
man.
God damn it. Anyway, that was Mike's column.
Yeah, that was my column. What did
Yeah.
you guys write?
Huey, you had, what was it, robots or battle?
Mine was called bonus points. And I just wrote about random shit. I wrote about Pog Slammers at one point.
I mean, didn't you just write one column though? It was So it was a Pog Slammer.
I guess it was just Pog Slammers. I wrote a big long thing about how Pogs were cool.
Nice.
It was awesome, man. Like I talked about. Cool. I have I think I still have it. A 24 karat gold Mortal Kombat themed slammer that I got at a mall kiosk in 1996.
Beautiful.
And I still have that. It cost me $18.
Yeah, buddy.
I couldn't believe it. I remember thinking at the time, I was like, this must be fake. But it says 24 karat gold. How can they sell it for only $18? And
just because it's got an atom's thickness of gold all over.
I still have my 2-pound Beavis and Butthead Slammer.
Oh, is that one of the ones that was like a tall one? Yeah.
Yay big, and it was like just a chunk of metal.
Yeah.
And
I literally was just messing around with my Pogs and Slammers the other day because I was cleaning out my closet and I was like, "Oh, let's check out these things. Let's look at these."
Pogs. Yeah, let's do it again.
The art was pretty cool on some of them.
Mm-hmm. Some of them were just so random as people were cashing in.
Yeah.
But I collected the Pog brand ones.
Okay.
With that little, I don't know what he was supposed to be, that the little critter was on.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I collected RoboCaps, which had little Gundams on it, but I didn't know what Gundams were at the time. But they had like miniature Gundam toys, like pictures of Gundam toys on them.
Oh, okay.
And then for a while I was collecting the DC Comics ones too. I had like the number 1, which is Superman, and Man of Tomorrow was number 2, and
I had the whole set that Mad Magazine released, like stickers that you could put on your Pogs, and they were all OJ Simpson themed ones. So I had one. I have a Slammer. It's like one of the thinner ones, but it's like OJ Simpson with the Bart Simpson head behind bars, and it says the Slammer. And it's a sticker I put on another Slammer.
What the fuck?
That's very Mad TV.
It's very
Mad. That's very Mad Magazine.
Mad Magazine. But like,
dude,
I still have it. It's at my mom's house. Like
the one that I kept for the longest that I really liked was it was like one of those like holographic ones, but only the background was holographic. The art was this really like edgy, weird drawn dinosaur, and there was a purple tail sticking out of his mouth, and it said, "I loved Barney." I love that.
I had that as a Pog.
The Pog is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You think there's like artists that drew all those Pogs that like are mad that their art are just lost to time now?
Pogs were the original NFTs, man. This is
you can really revive Pog art to be NFTs.
Easy.
Pog art, I mean, NFT art looks like the Pogs.
It's exactly the same caliber of art.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same.
Got so many of them were just random. I mean, there was one I had just like a spider on it. And then another one that just had a skull and it said Poison on it. Not for the band Poison.
Yeah,
just a skull that says Poison.
Just the concept of poison.
Right? Acid. Cool. Okay. I love acid.
Yeah.
I had one of those hologram slammers too. Mine is like green. It was like that green hologram kind of thing. And it was like a Grim Reaper thing. And then Ian Cotmare took his freaking slammer, buddy of mine, and threw it down and like put a big dent in the sticker. And I was so mad because that was a very expensive slammer. It was probably $18, which is
I never used my gold one except in very rare circumstances. I had one that was like, it was a thick piece of like, I don't know, nickel or something, and it had like a big crossed battle axes and a sword on it, and I was like, this is my day-to-day slammer. I know.
Yeah, for every occasion, right?
Yeah.
Right. Do you? I think it was kind of funny that the game of Pogs and Pogs themselves were kind of dorky, but the artwork always had this not actual but like kind of imposed edge to it.
Yeah,
like everything was like badass and it was like biker art for kids. Like if a biker would get a tattoo of it, they made the kiddie version of it and put it on a Pog. You know,
that's very accurate.
Chains and poison and skulls and
I mean, I think the biggest
and shit.
The most emblematic aspect of that is I have a slammer. It's not holographic, but it's like silver, and as you bend it, it becomes all the colors. But it is an outline of that freaking No Fear guy. Remember that?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Butch guy. So that's like the most 90s edge lord thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That no fear guy.
The edge. The
Yeah, I remember
edge.
when I was in elementary school, there were these kids arguing in the lunch line in front of me. And then they turned to me and they were like, settle this for us. Which one of us has access to more pogs? And then they laid out their arguments for who had more prevalent access to what pogs. Like it was such a bizarre argument. And I don't remember
Dude,
who I backed. But
I remember being in school and a guy I knew literally crying in the hallway because somebody broke his pogs. Like that's where we were back then. Like somebody broke his pogs in half, and he was crying to a teacher. I was like, "Holy shit!"
I remember originally I think pogs were only at like MJ Designs, and then like every place, even restaurants, were getting in on it. Where like you'd go to the counter to pay for your meal, and there'd be like pogs on display.
Yeah,
for sale, and it's like you could just get them anywhere, and people were just banging them out, and they were just.
Do you remember going in the back of MJ Designs and they had those tubs?
I remember being in there with like 60 children, digging through with my hands in those giant like horse trough tubs.
Right.
Yes.
Around me, the place that we got them first was like a comic book store or something that I like to go to. But then right after that, like immediately after that, all of the movie rental places. Like the smaller movie rental places, all had pogs, and then that was rapidly followed by Blockbuster in Hollywood. But like the little tiny shitty movie rental place that I used to love to go always had this little. I mean, for years, well after it was popular, they still had all these pogs that I guess could not move, and they were probably there until that place closed its doors. I would not.
I wish I was like a millionaire so I could open a pog store right now.
Right now.
Yeah,
guys, pogs are primed to hit again.
Yeah, the person who believes it's time. History's rolled back. The 8-track tape is coming, and so are pogs.
I saw a 20-minute documentary, and by documentary I mean the Reddit documentary, and what they call a documentary can be basically anything, but basically a kid just interviews his parents about the fact that his parents went all in, namely his dad, on buying Beanie Babies as an investment. And so this is a documentary of a man who spent, and they looked at the money that he spent and they realized like they could have sent the kids to college with that money.
Jesus
And
Christ.
instead he like said, I'm buying all these Beanie Babies for that. I wonder if there was anybody who did that with pogs. Went all in.
There has to be. They were so fucking popular. They
were crazy popular.
Yeah.
And Beanie Babies were like they were right after Pogs. Like, or there was probably some overlap there.
Well,
I don't
Beanie
remember.
Babies went for a few years too. I feel like Pogs was 1 year.
Yeah, I feel like
Pogs was probably 1 year
around, but yeah, Beanie Babies was around for a good long time.
Yeah, I had a bunch. I mean, I was way too old for it, but the collecting thing was cool to me.
Yeah.
And like I had a ton.
I liked some of the. I had a Stingray that I really liked. And like some of like the more like edgy animals, I was like, I want a shark and a stingray and a seahorse.
My mom got me the Pokemon ones, and I have all those still because I
didn't know they made that.
They're just, I mean, they're not Beanie Babies, but they're obviously, but like they're the same thing. It's like the 4 standards that were always at the time, like Zubat and Charmander. And but in any case, I had so many.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for my mom because my mom got like a bunch of Chinese knockoff ones, but I don't think really realized that they were Chinese knockoff ones.
Yeah.
And she just gave them to me like 6 months ago. And then I donated them to like an abuse shelter for children to have they always give a kid a toy.
Yeah.
And she was visibly upset that I had gotten rid of them. And I was like, Mom, I'm like 38. I don't know what you want me to do. Do I got to hold these forever?
They're
These are Beanie Babies.
Right. And these aren't even Beanie Babies. These are,
these are,
but she had gone through a lot to get
infants.
them and get all of them. It's like, not trying to break it down, but like, it's got to be heartbreaking as parents when you think of all the stuff you went through. And then your kid is like, well,
yeah.
I mean, but that's from the time you're a kid. Like you give a baby a toy and they're like, look at the box, and they're playing with the paper.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing.
So,
yeah. So
what did you write? What was your article?
Bob? The reason I brought that up, and it's because it's a perfect time to bring it up, was because Gigi Source reminds me that it's not really I think it's not really a connection, but my column was named Blunderthunk.
It was named Blunderthunk.
It was named Blunderthunk, and I don't know if in my brain I'm the one who came up with Thundergrunt when I was doing it with Rex, and the original network and all of what Thunderground used to be. And I'm wondering if it's too close, right? It's like
I mean, it's out
really
of the same
close.
brain. You clearly like those sounds together.
I like those sounds together. I don't even know what I didn't think my column had a theme. I think it was me complaining. But I wrote one article, and the article I wrote about was gift certificates. How much I hated. Which is not something I don't know if I feel as militant about anymore, but the whole article was about how much I hated gift certificates, how they were proprietary money, and how giving someone a gift certificate makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
You know, even though I understand, like, I mean, now I'm older, so I don't give a fuck anymore. But, like if somebody gives me a gift certificate, I'm like, well, you should know. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Actually, I would have preferred a check.
Right. You buy proprietary money, you know, itchy and scratchy bucks. I think I talk about in the article the episode of The Simpsons when Homer buys $1,000 worth of itchy and scratchy bucks, and then he turns around and everything says we don't accept itchy and scratchy bucks. But yeah, like that was my article in Gigi Source, which I thought was funny because at least the things you guys wrote about were like geeky. I was just complaining about
gift cards.
I got gift cards, which had nothing to do with like media or geeky anything. I was just me being fucking mad that somebody probably didn't just give me like $50. They gave me a fucking Target gift card.
Well, we were coming off of all really enjoying Cracked, and I think we were trying to be like Cracked.
I think
which,
you're right.
although there's a lot of geeky stuff in Cracked, sometimes they just let loose on anything, you know?
There's like 5 reasons why this is stupid. 5 reasons why gift certificates make no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I guess that might have been. I don't know if I was as big on Cracked as you guys. Definitely not as big as Huey. I know Huey, you were obsessed.
I loved reading Craft.
No, I was too, for sure. Same. I mean, once Dan O'Brien left, I pretty much fell off the.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. David Wong's great, and like I like that.
Yeah.
I liked like 2 other guys, but I mean, Dan O'Brien was like
I
my
still
guy.
follow David Wong on Twitter. He's every day. He's one of my favorite tweeters. If I had to pick one.
I still read all his books. I listen to podcasts if he's going to be on it. If I see and we're going to have David Wong on, I'm like, shit, yeah.
Who is the guy?
Bob, get David Wong.
Huh?
Oh yeah, you
get David
Wong.
Wong.
Almost definitely get Jason Pargin, man. Do it.
Look, everyone asks me these things. I can't even get that fucking music guy. He didn't respond to me. All right, fine. I'll try. I'll ask. Sure.
Look, Bob, you single-handedly got the creators of Bonus Points and Sitbomb here together. I mean, what can't you do, Bob? It's
amazing.
I can't believe our schedules align.
What was I gonna say? The guy that I would want from the old days of Cracked would be Michael Swaim.
I fucking
Swaim, I love Swaim, man.
I obviously Wong was great. Don't get me wrong, but the David dude, what's his name?
Dan O'Brien.
Dan O'Brien. Never mind. He was great too. But Michael Swaim made the videos, and that's what I watched. I watched the videos more than I read. Cracked.
Yeah, I watched the videos too, and
DOB
was in
funny,
was in
man.
those too. And
DOB was in
DOB
he
was
did his own series.
Yeah.
But then he also did the one that was Agents of Cracked with Michael Swaim, where that was that was hilarious.
He was the other guy in Agents of Cracked. Yeah.
Swaim, I just found Swaim intensely.
No, he had a face. He had the face.
Yeah.
And he Swaim was great, and he could the way he could deliver a line was amazing.
Cracked TV was so fucking funny. It was like, what was it? It's like what's the guy who does the movie, the YouTube videos and talks about him, the comedian guy?
Yeah,
he has a show.
Like so many people.
You got to give us more than that.
Oh, Tosh doesn't exist anymore. If you mean Tosh.
Oh, is it not Tosh?
It's not on anymore now.
It was Tosh.0 well before Tosh.0 came out.
Oh yeah.
And it was really funny. He did an awesome job, but and then it became
it like College Humor was like ahead of the game in terms of like the video content they were like putting out.
Yeah. That golden age of Cracked is like,
I prefer Cracked to College Humor. College Humor was funny, even though a lot of people hated College Humor. I thought they actually,
they got better as they went on. Their earlier stuff was actual college humor.
It was like douchebag shit, yeah.
Right. And then as it went on, it got better. One of my favorite Dan O'Brien moments is Dan O'Brien had written an article about how if you ever met a clone of yourself, your only 2 options are to fight them or to fuck them.
I know what you're going to talk about. Yeah.
Right. And so there's an episode. Was it Agents of Cracked or was it
wasn't Agents of Cracked? Yeah.
And there's a point in time where Dan O'Brien is in his office doing typing or whatever, and then Dan O'Brien walks into the office and they just stare at each other. And and the guy behind the desk goes, and the other Dan O'Brien goes, and just starts unbuttoning his shirt.
Dude, I remember like
It's the
right
best.
after that, Dan O'Brien, like the one who was behind the desk, is like looking scandalized, and Michael Swaim comes in. He goes, "Dude, I just met my doppelganger. It was awesome. We hung out and had drinks. What happened to you?"
I just love without a word. It just it was so good.
What do you think would have come? What do you think would have come of Cracked if it hadn't been destroyed?
Ooh, I don't know.
That was heartbreaking. I remember when that all happened. That was pretty heartbreaking.
It was almost like it was like such a big part of my day to go to Cracked and like read all the new articles and see what anybody else posted and stuff. And when that was gone, when that all fell apart.
Well, what do you mean it all fell apart? Because like
they fired everybody.
They fired everybody.
Oh, and then they got all news. Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
They fired all their staff, and I mean, it was immediate, the drop off in quality, because those people you had Cody, who went on to make some more news, and it's incredible. You had fucking Michael Swaim. You had Dan O'Brien, who now writes for
John Oliver.
Yeah.
You had Jack O'Brien.
I saw him on stage at like the Emmys. It was so weird to see Dan O'Brien on stage.
John
Oliver won. Yeah.
I mean, there's like so many awesome talents. Like Katie Stahl, she was freaking hilarious. There's so many good people, and then who were just like, no, we don't need this.
YouTube channel, right? Swaim does like a podcast.
It's called Small Beans.
Small Beans, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. I've listened to it a few times. Yeah. It's just I don't understand why they would destroy that. I guess they didn't want to pay them anymore.
Yeah,
or something like that. That
was it.
That was the up and down of it.
Well, what was it? Jack O'Brien was the original editor in chief, and his like second in command was David Wong. And then Jack O'Brien was like, "I'm going to leave." Dude, his podcast back when he was doing the Cracked podcast, it was incredible. He was that was like one of probably my favorite podcasts to listen to just in general, because it was always interesting. He'd get like experts in whatever field he was talking about, and it would just be like cool information that you didn't know. And he'd always start it and end it with music that he liked to listen to, and so you were always getting like 2 songs you had never heard before, and he was great. And then he went off and he does the Daily Zeitgeist now, which is another podcast that is nowhere near as good. Somehow it is like it tanked in comparison to what the Cracked one was. But
I've mentioned this to Bob before, but basically what I think killed College Humor is all their big sponsors pulled out, and then they had to basically fire most people.
Yeah.
But College Humor now lives on as its own streaming service, and it's kind of doing, I believe it's doing quite well, especially for an independent streaming service that only streams its own original content. I mean, it doesn't pull it from anywhere else, and they got a back catalog.
YouTube? Does it still have like a YouTube presence?
It for like brand new stuff, they usually do like a month on the streaming service, and then they will push it to YouTube. I'm sure there are some things where only the full episodes are on the streaming service. They got to hold something back because it's a paywall.
Yeah.
It makes me feel fucking old that I have nostalgia for vestiges of the internet that no longer exist. Like, I mean, like the fact sometimes I just sit there and think like, man, Funny or Die is gone. Like Funny or Die doesn't exist anymore. Fucking.
So wait. If I type in Funny or Die, it doesn't pop up.
Funny or Die is not a site anymore. It has a YouTube channel that they still post to, but it's not the people.
It's not what it was.
It's not Will Ferrell and Adam McKay and all that.
Right. Okay.
Also, Super Deluxe. Do you guys remember Super Deluxe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was
not until you just said it, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Super Deluxe.
Well, that was like Bob Odenkirk's Funny or Die.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that, and now it's just like this thing that doesn't. I guess it might exist. I don't.
You know,
it's not Bob
so
Odenkirk.
Weird.
I know that. So
how quickly we start to. I'm not sure if it's like a generational thing or what, but like we so rapidly get nostalgic for things. I'm nostalgic for things that happened like 3 years ago, and it's like
that might be aging too.
Well, I don't feel like.
No, I mean aging. Like you're getting older, so
I mean, it must be like
anything you can grab from the.
I guess I don't really feel. I don't feel anxiety about aging though. It's just is like, man, that was a really awesome time, and it's almost just like I want to be able to revisit these things the same way I do when I like rewatch Community for the 13th time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm not sure if it's because we can do that we're so much more prone to be able to think like get nostalgic for our lives, these smaller little microcosms, just because of how easy it is for us to redigest old things that we liked at this point. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm not sure if that has any weight at all, but it
Are you
just
saying
feels,
like you're more nostalgic because you can get to it quickly?
yeah,
Okay.
like
people
there's no
there's no way people like were able to actually have like a sight and sound buffet, if you will, like we can now. I mean, our whole lives have kind of been that. We just started out with like movies, basically, because movies were on VHS, and you could watch an old movie and you can get attached to it. Now it's literally like Huey's saying, everything. It's it's everything. It's even down to like reading articles that you once loved. You could find them again, and it's all available. You could
straight up down to
aughts if you
straight
want,
to porn. You could be like, oh man, I haven't seen this porn in like 18 years. This is incredible.
Yeah.
I remember these breasts. It's like, I don't know. It's such a strange thing that like,
and then you could be like, what are those breasts doing now? And then you can
look them up. You're like,
the amount of wormhole you can go down of.
Right.
You can go down. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Newgrounds is the one that I remember a lot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I loved all the Newgrounds games.
Yep. All the games.
There's those Flash games you could play and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Flash games were the best. I just remember actually, because I was kind of a sheltered kid, especially as a teenager, and an early teenager, like the violence in Newgrounds stuff was very like shocking for me
very
at
edgy.
that time. Very edgy.
Two things remind me of Newgrounds is the Ultimate Showdown.
Of Ultimate Destiny.
Ultimate Destiny, and the Extreme Looney Tunes video where it's just extreme Bugs Bunny saying
making fun of the new Bugs Bunny Extreme show that had come out. That's right.
I remember that specifically.
God, I remember that. Oh,
I remember this like Lord of the Rings. It was like Lord of the Rings from the perspective of the goblins. And I remember watching that it was really funny. And but
I remember there's one of my friends like asked on Facebook, like, does anyone know how to upload to Newgrounds? And somebody just the only comment was time travel to 1997. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Newgrounds?
Why are you uploading to Newgrounds now?
Flash is dead.
Yeah, Flash is dead.
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't just make it a YouTube video?
Yeah, I mean, good lord.
What are you doing? Yeah. I
upload to my live journal.
It's an interesting conversation because of what you were saying, Hugh, with nostalgia. Like, you guys we were literally in a room the other day, yesterday, talking, and I did that 4-hour podcast with the guy who asked me to be a guest, and and what came up on that podcast was he asked me why I rewatched movies so much, which is something I've learned, even with my film friends, is kind of weird. I didn't know this. I didn't actually know that. Like I'm a serial rewatcher. I watch movies several times that I love.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say you and Shannon are the only two people I know on that level.
Right. In your circle of knowledge, I think
in my circle of knowledge.
Yeah, me and Shannon definitely share that. But that is not, from what I understand, normal for most people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that I actually did something that was actually kind of considered odd.
I don't know. I rewatch a lot of stuff, and I rewatch it frequently. And then sometimes I will get into like a point. I remember I once watched, what's that? It was either Keeping the Faith or what's the one with Helen Hunt and where he's got obsessive
As Good as It Gets?
As Good as It Gets. It was one of those two. I watched it straight on repeat because the DVD would just start again after the menu loaded 4 times. I watched that straight for a solid month. I didn't change. It was always playing. And so now I can quote those movies like fucking crazy because I watched them so much. But I don't know if I ever specifically
for you to say. I would never have guessed those two movies.
Dude, I
haven't even thought of Keeping the Faith since maybe 99.
Yeah. Nobody thinks about Keeping the Faith, man. It's a sleeper.
I remember it because it was like
Ben Elfman fucking nailed it.
It was pitched as a joke. It was like a priest, a rabbi, and a girl walk into a bar.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wasn't just that. It's like I was talking to that dude made me kind of examine it. Like, why do I love it so much?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't think it's purely nostalgia. You know what I mean? I think there's a psychological comfort to it.
I think it's a baby blanket.
Yeah, it is. There's a comfort level to it. You also, you know what's going to happen. You probably a movie that it's not all movies from my childhood, so it's not exactly that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've watched recent movies that I love several fucking times. So
I feel like it's the act of watching movies like that alone. I do sometimes I've got a litany of video games I can play. I can do all these things. And there are absolutely times in my life where I'm like, the only thing that will make me feel better right now is to just sit and watch a movie, because movies, I don't know, there's a way you engage with a movie that is unlike anything, even TV. A movie is like, here is exactly this much of a story, and then you're done. It's like, it's a very clear time investment for a very clear return. And I don't know, that always, I don't know. I love watching movies too, but I'm not sure if that's it.
I don't rewatch movies very frequently. It's very rare that I rewatch a movie. And I think a lot of that is because I rewatch a lot of TV. I, for some reason, don't rewatch a lot of movies. And if I had to guess, it's because I feel weird about watching a movie casually. I feel like this is a fucking movie. I gotta fucking pay attention to this
thing. Yeah.
I have to have good sound. I have to be able to turn it up to a certain level. Like I gotta TV.
So you're making it almost a chore, right? Like it
a little bit.
Like it deserves my fucking
more respect.
Right. Yeah. So I gotta give it to it. Now
that's interesting.
So for me, a lot of it can be background noise.
That's me too. Yeah. When I put them on, I almost anytime I'm playing a game, I almost always have a TV or a movie on, because this is almost my preferential form of entertainment. And then whatever I'm doing here is, so at least this is like filling up a hole that's in my psyche.
Yeah.
So that I can do something else. And but yeah, that's all very interesting. It's interesting. It's
so
interesting
Mike,
how
I feel like that obviously if I'm watching something for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I just sit to prep for the Oscars. Not talking about that. I watched all the Best Picture noms, you know, and to me that I said to the guys I was going to their party, and I was like, you don't realize how much of a chore this was this week, because for me to watch a first time movie every day, I have to sit there. I put my phone away from me. Yeah, and I and some of those fucking Oscar movies, like Drive My Car is like over 3 hours long. I'm like, holy fucking Christ. You know, I'm just like, it's not that the movie's bad. It was great. I just was like, the idea of what you're saying, I have to respect it. Because I feel like if I don't respect it the first time, I haven't truly watched it. And now I could put those on. I could watch Nightmare Alley in the background now if I wanted to. But
I can do it if anybody else is doing it. If Shannon's casually watching a movie, fine. If I'm hanging out with you, fine. But like, if I'm making the choice to watch a movie, I then like feel compelled to just take it uber seriously. I'm like, I am going to watch Big Lebowski again. Okay, you know, I will set aside 2 hours and do that. You know?
To be like, but don't you feel like I know Big Lebowski so well, I don't need to look at the screen. That's
you're right. I don't need to, though. I do catch new things, but no, you're absolutely right. I feel just like, I don't know. I can look at my phone while I'm watching TV. I feel weird looking at my phone while I'm watching a movie. I don't know. It's weird.
That makes sense. I think that it makes sense though, because we were also raised in a time like, remember, like everything is flipped now. Kind of like TV used to be a joke in our childhood.
Yeah.
TV was something that actors from movies would not be caught dead doing.
Yeah.
And now all the storytelling has truly gone to television, and now movies kind of look like cartoons mostly. So, you know what I mean? So we were kind of raised with TV doesn't call for respect. You know? Our age group. I don't know how kids would feel about
now if it's something again that I haven't seen, and it's something like Ozark, I'm glued. Like I'm gonna watch it.
Which also that shit's almost basically just a really long movie.
It is. It's a really long movie.
And you know,
it's like I was hooked on Yellow Jackets earlier. That was fantastic. But that's one you want to watch.
The director of Yellow Jackets was just on Thunder.
That's right.
Go listen now. Stop listening to this. And go listen to that now.
Stop. This is bad. It goes into that. It's terrible.
If I have something on in the background, it's not uncommon for me to just play it again. Like if I'm playing something and I have say Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping on, I'll put that on 2 to 3 times just because it's funny, and I like and being able to drift in and out of that movie, I can like. There's certain movies that are better for that, and that's a great one because
That's a
it's
great
just,
movie for that. I can see
for
that.
just
Yeah,
like
totally.
any kind of like these comedies where you
It's
can
like it's like Naya's sketch movie.
yeah, exactly. So that's great. Like any other like Hot Rod, that movie, and fucking like Spinal Tap. These movies are it's like
This is perfect because I was about to say this to you. Like you're reading my mind. One of the things I realized was that the fact that I'm a rewatcher, and Shannon might share this with me too, is a lot of the friends film friends I know that say they don't get this, they don't watch comedies that much. And I think that might be some sort of key to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think about the movies I rewatch for comfort and stuff. Most of them are funny. Like I don't like put on the movies I think are truly great in other categories like that. But a lot of them are like you said, Pop Star, Never Stopping.
yeah.
I put Hot Rod on a fucking billion times.
So many times I've watched Hot Rod
in the
play.
background. Like it just I want that in the background. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But the people I know who have told me they don't do that kind of thing. They don't watch that many comedy movies.
Yeah, almost all of Shannon's movies are comedies or whatever you would call Home Alone.
That's a comedy. It's a Christmas movie, but
It's like family comedy.
I would call it a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what would you call like is Mannequin a comedy? You know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's kind of or Breakfast Club, whatever you would call Breakfast Club. Like
Breakfast
I guess
Club
that's
is
kind
that has comedy in it.
right.
It has
So
the
like
vibe of comedy.
so yeah, that's mostly, and they are a lot of them are from childhood. And there was a period of time, I don't know if she still feels like this, but there was a period of time where she kind of liked watch. I was like, you have this on DVD. Why are you watching it on TBS or whatever? And she was like, I kind of like the commercials, not watching them, but like it's childhood. It's how you watch movies when you were a kid.
It's time to get up, get a snack, go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that.
And so a lot of them are. I mean, I know the ones that are like almost always on are like
Clue,
Money Pit. Actually, Clue, yeah, but I mean, like like regular rewatches are like Money Pit. What's the one with oh crap, I can't remember the actress's name. The woman who's also in Money Pit.
Goldie Hawn.
No,
Goldie Hawn. Man, I'm
from
tired.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Man, I'm gonna punch myself.
Anyway, she was in a movie where she was like a Girl Scout leader.
Shelley Long. Jesus.
Shelley Long.
Come on.
Whatever movie where she's a Girl Scout leader. She
Hills.
watches that movie all the time.
Troop Beverly Hills. Yeah.
And Mannequin, stuff like that all the time. And then for some reason, if one of those like disaster movies is on, she'll watch it. For some reason, like 2012 or whatever, I'm sorry, no, Day After Tomorrow. It's Day After Tomorrow. For some reason, Day After Tomorrow, if it's on, she's watching, and she doesn't quite understand why. But for some
I would
reason,
watch Day After Tomorrow if it was on.
I've learned a lot of people love Day After Tomorrow. I'm not a big fan. I prefer, if I had to choose that or 2012, I choose 2012. But I don't like either of them really. I'm an Armageddon guy, to be honest with you.
I don't know why
I'm
like
more of a 90s destruction guy.
and also
Twister, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
The John Cusack movie, 1418, 1412, whatever
1408.
1408. If that's on, she's watching.
I can't remember if I've ever talked about our experience seeing 1408.
I've heard it.
I've heard it, but I can't remember it. So if you want to tell me,
yeah.
No, it was me, you, and Shannon. I don't know who else was with us. Maybe Wes. And we saw 1408 at White Marsh. And there was a guy sitting behind us, and you know how the movie ends with like a fake ending where like it's all happy and everything's fine, and then you learn he's actually still in the fucking room.
Yeah.
Before he learns he's still in the room, the guy behind us, like, he stood up. I remember he had a couple plastic bags filled with food, and he stood up and he literally out loud said, "Well, that was great." And then we all looked at him and we're like, okay, and then he walked out. And that movie, which I do really love that movie. Every time I watch it, I think of this dude
who still thinks that happy ending is the ending.
Yeah, he probably never rewatched it. And he's walking out there in the ether, just being like 1408, man. What a happy ending!
Nailed it.
That's
great.
That really stuck the landing.
Yeah.
So that kind of derailed what you were saying, but I I feel the same as Shannon. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's I guess I was asking you guys if there was a describable word for it because I don't really know.
I think I know it's comfort. I know for sure
I think
for
it has a lot to
Shannon
do
it's a
with
comfort thing.
It has to.
I would say it is.
I'd
for
also
me
do it with
too.
action movies too. It's not just comedies. I watch a lot of action movies the same way.
One of my
So-
go-tos in the background is freaking. It's not an action movie, but Interstellar, because I love this music.
Oh yeah, I love.
And
Interstellar.
anytime you look at that movie, it is a beautiful shot. So
That's
I mean,
cool.
like,
That's cool.
that's always
That's
one
my
that's
favorite Christopher Nolan movie. If I
Me
had to
too.
choose.
I fucking love that
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, I mean, there's just like, it doesn't have to be old, but the old ones, I almost feel like I pay more attention to some of the older movies. Like, if one of those is on, I want to be like taken back to that point.
Mhm.
So those are harder for me to background watch. Like, if The Mask came on, I think I would actually watch The Mask.
Yeah.
Or like Liar Liar.
I mean, I'll watch those. I'll put them on.
No, I know. What I
Yeah.
mean is, like, if one came on, I couldn't watch that passively because I would want to be like reliving that in a bit more of a
Right.
real way.
I was happy that I was able to get Shannon, like, for a long time, you know, if we would rent something on streaming or something and Shannon would be like, Dad, don't pay the extra buck for the HD. I'm like, I'm paying the extra buck for the HD.
Yeah.
And she finally came around. She's like, yeah, so I wanted to watch Mannequin and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I bought it and they only had an SD version and it looks freaking awful. I was like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
You know,
It could look good. They could remaster Mannequin. They have the masters.
Right.
Mannequin could look fucking 4K ultra great.
Did I mention the fact that like the soundtrack doesn't exist and never has existed?
No, but I believe
that's
it.
crazy.
It like I thought Mannequin was a relatively popular movie, but the soundtrack for one doesn't exist. If you want it, a guy on eBay will make it for you and then put a fake label on it. And there's like a song or two on there from artists who were relatively big who only made that song for that movie. And I was like, where? And like Shannon's like, I can't get this song anywhere because it was only in the film. They never made the soundtrack and that artist never independently put out the song. So like, where do I get this song?
It's from the movie. Like that's the only place you can.
It's a song like lost to time. Like it is because it's only embedded, as far as anyone knows, within the film itself now. Yeah.
Well, you know that's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That basically the recording of those songs is the movie soundtrack. There's no other. Like if you buy the soundtrack to the movie, it's just cut from the movie soundtrack.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've remastered it.
They did, but I'm just saying, like, it is from the movie soundtrack. It's not like there's no difference.
Yeah,
That's wild.
That.
Okay.
I was watching on YouTube some guy. Do you guys know what Rock and Roll High School Forever is? The Corey Feldman movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I watched it with you.
You did watch it with me. Some guy on YouTube made a fucking documentary about it just for free. It's horribly produced. It's all Zoom interviews that sound almost unintelligible with the cast and crew, but a lot of it is him talking about the soundtrack never existing. How you can't get a lot of the songs, and he actually contacted the bands that did some of the songs to find out
what happened to it.
What happened to them? Where did they go? Where can people get like the original recordings and stuff? Because it just was never released.
I thought it's funny you mentioned that. I almost mentioned the fact that I thought a documentary of like me trying to track down the original like stems of like of one of these tracks that Shannon's trying to get and like find that artist, because that artist put out a bunch of albums, but then trying to find the studio. It clearly was recorded somewhere. Somebody has the master tapes of those tracks. It's like, can we get them? Can we get them out? Can we,
or they are actually lost to time.
They might be lost to time.
Yeah. Huey, you were going to say something?
I'm trying to remember what it was, and I keep going like this to try and jog my memory.
I thought you were going to say something.
I do want to say something, but I had the idea when I went like, oh, that's right, got it. See, I had to go like this.
Yep.
The one of the earliest memories I have about Shannon, it actually comes up.
Shannon is Mike's fiance, by the way, for anyone listening.
We're married, but yeah.
They're married now.
Oh yeah, right. You're married.
But this is it's a little peek behind the window of a little speech I have to give. It's not related to you. This is the part for her.
Okay.
That I say.
Okay.
And I say that one of the earliest memories I have of her is I think the first time I met her is when you brought her to a party here. It was like before Christmas.
Okay.
And everybody was trying to decide for like non-traditional, typical Christmas movies. And Bob said, What about the ref? And I'll never forget this. Shannon goes, I love the ref. Dude, she was so amped about anybody bringing up the ref.
The
And
ref
I was
is
like,
often on in the living room. It is
I can
frequently on.
imagine.
she fucking loves the ref.
You know what's funny?
Dude.
I love the ref too. No,
Yeah.
obviously, but it's one of those movies where it's like the two main characters have been sort of canceled. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Kevin Spacey's been canceled for the Kevin Spacey stuff.
It's Kevin Kline though.
No, it's not. It's Kevin Spacey.
Dennis Leary and
Kevin Spacey.
is
Trust me on this. Trust me on this.
it? Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah,
I believe you.
Kevin Kline is not all. He's, as far as I know, he's solid.
No, now for some reason I'm picturing the cover with Kevin Kline, but now that I'm picturing shots of the film and them being tied up, you're right.
Yeah. No, it's Kevin Spacey and Dennis Leary. I always like kind of. I mean, I don't hate Dennis Leary, but the fact that he's kind of a joke thief.
Oh,
like,
did that happen? I didn't know
that all happened and stuff. He was he stole jokes and everything from Bill Hicks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like in the last 10 years, the ref has lost some steam with me.
A little luster.
My Christmas rewatching, it is lowered on the list.
Right.
Because
right.
of those two things. Even though I do still love it.
It's still a solid film.
It's still a solid movie.
Yeah.
I want to get kind of back on track. And it's perfect because we're talking about movies. We're talking about nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Backrow Bastards. The
Backrow Bastards.
The part of
Bob
this
and
whole
Mike.
thing that literally people saw or heard Chet Program, maybe. GG Source might have had a few readers. Backrow Bastards was like heard by me and Mike. Maybe Shannon. I don't.
Shannon recorded an intro for one, but she never listened to an episode.
Huey, did you ever hear a piece of any of it?
I never even knew what Backrow Bastards was until you just started talking about it.
So I think Backrow Bastards actually, Mike, might be like the first thing I ever did this realm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it literally.
And that makes sense because it was just a Mystery Science Theater ripoff, basically.
It was a Mystery Science Theater ripoff. It was. I remember I had my laptop sitting on my mom's coffee table, and we were just sitting near it.
Yes,
that was the recording.
I might have had my little like blue snowball or
you
something.
You might have. I can't remember. It was. Like,
I mean, it was at a point where we even gave a shit about syncing it up with the DVD.
Oh, dude, I listened to the you sent. So Mike sent me the Ghost episode earlier for the movie Ghost, and the opening is so confusing. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah,
trying to tell people how to like sync up the movie with.
Yeah, later you were like, dude, I went and listened to riff tracks, and they don't even bother with that shit. Let's not bother with that shit.
Yeah, so
but we had already recorded several episodes.
I don't even know why I was saying stuff like that, dude. I probably should have saying, why don't we put this on fucking the internet so anyone can fucking hear it.
I think the idea was to get like at least 5 done and then start doing one a week. I don't know.
How many got 5 done? I think we got 5 done, didn't we?
4. I believe we got 4.
Okay, so
and I know I have the other episodes somewhere. But Ghost is the only one I still have on tap.
Last Action Hero, Ernest Scared Stupid,
and Ernest one checks out. And I definitely remember Last Action Hero because of we talked about Tesla at the end,
and Waterworld.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that was it. That was the 4 episodes so we never made it to 5. We just abandoned it.
So you never uploaded.
No, we never uploaded.
Like, well, we never have to care about this.
And Ghost was the last one.
So I did a long time ago. I wrote for MoviePoopShoot.com before Smodcast ever existed. Kevin Smith had Movie Poop Shoot, and I was writing for it. And I pitched the webmaster of Movie Poop Shoot, Backrow Bastards. And I remember he said, sure. And I must have not ever followed through with it because me and you just gave up on it. I can't remember what happened. I don't honestly remember.
I think we just got bored with it. It was like, God, we got to watch a movie and try to be vaguely entertaining during it. Like, I don't know. Maybe we just got sick of it.
Well, so Huey, what it was it wasn't just us talking about a movie. It wasn't us doing Richie Rich. It was like
Okay.
me and Mike would literally push play on like Waterworld and then talk during it.
You would comment during it. Okay,
it was a
yeah.
commentary track with no research. It was just us talking about the movie.
I must have had some exposure to this. I don't think I was involved in anything, but that must be why I brought you the Chet Program, because I didn't know anything about podcasting and you did. So I had to bring this to someone and I brought it to you.
Maybe. I don't.
That's the only way I can think that we got that point.
Well, Bob was already doing stuff with Matt by the time you brought him Chet Program, though, right?
Yeah.
The Chet Program predates.
Predates Alps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By very short period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt came to me with Alps not long after that.
Yeah.
And then that became that. But Backrow Bastards predates Chet Program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think by a few years. I mean, I don't even know if Huey, I don't even know if I knew you well.
It's entirely possible.
I might have known you, but I didn't know you well.
Well, you must have known me because I knew. Yeah, it must have been before our reconnection when we saw each other
at the Best
across
Buy.
the aisle at that Best Buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it must have been before that date because I knew Mike before he knew Shannon.
Right.
And so then, yeah.
Yeah, either way.
I mean, not actually, but yeah.
Really?
It doesn't matter.
I met her at age 15.
Oh, 16. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, for sure.
Either way, Backrow Bastards was a fucking long time ago. It was like
it was
like mid early aughts. Like it was really far.
Yeah, that is early on.
And it was like it was so far back that podcasts we didn't know what to do with it. And
we were going to try to do it the same way that Riff Tracks did it, which is like they had their own dedicated website and you would pay to download directly like it was its own thing. It didn't have like a.
Oh yeah. And you download it to your iPod and then you press play when you press play on the DVD. And that was what you did. That was our idea. So our idea was essentially just doing that.
Right. A less funny Riff Tracks.
It was a Riff Tracks. So it was just human beings talking.
Yeah.
I think I remember like them not being too bad. I'm sure listening to them now will be pretty cringy. Like in a bad, just like we have nothing to say. But
I've listened to one I listened to the Ghost one in the background. I guess I got rid of can't imagine I would have gotten rid of them, but for some reason I have the Ghost one saved. It's not as bad as you think. But the thing I really remember about the Ghost one is that you learning in real time one of the Zucker brothers directed it.
Oh yeah, I back then I didn't know that Jerry Zucker directed Ghost.
Right.
That was a total surprise to me. I was like, oh, that's why Ghost is really fucking funny.
Yeah. Right.
Because Ghost is, I mean, it's like one of the most, at that time, it was remembered as one of the most romantic movies ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the comedy in Ghost is legitimately fucking great. It's a funny movie on top of being what it is. Yeah. He didn't bring that same power to Dragonfly, sadly.
Oh.
I haven't seen.
I don't even know what Dragonfly is.
It's a Kevin Costner movie. It was like his next attempt at drama after Ghost. And Jerry Zucker, I guess he didn't hit it out of the park with Dragonfly.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about him, Mike. I just remember I enjoyed doing it. I just don't understand why we quit. I'm kind of mad at myself for quitting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself for quitting Chet Program too, but
I mean,
I don't remember
know why.
what fucking happened.
But we put like about 10 hours of work into recording.
Yeah, me and Huey like literally it was like 90 minutes. I made the worst Photoshop.
Yeah, it was like it was like your face on like a drop of water, and then me as Pep Cymax.
Yeah, you screaming.
Oh my God, Pep Cymax! I forgot about Pep Cymax, dude.
Pep Cymax.
God,
Pep Cymax did okay on YouTube for a thing that nobody understands what it is.
Yeah, for an idea that is an okay idea, executed okay, but it's also I notice in many of the things I make, I go for a joke that's like a little too complicated for the amount of time you have.
Right.
And so whereas a smarter comedy person might like, okay, it's a hat on a hat. We need to back off this joke a little bit. I had not yet developed any sort of filter for thinking like that.
So, well, to give
Pep
context to what
Climax.
we're talking about is that Crash the Super Bowl was this thing that Pepsi and Doritos did every year where you could make a commercial with under their provisions, 30 seconds, and people would just, vote on it and everything. It was kind of like a film contest I did for years. I mean, Crash the Super Bowl was kind of like a thing in my life for like a decade that ended. They don't do it anymore. But we did one where Huey played a character named Pep Climax.
Yeah, because Pepsi wanted you to do Pepsi Max because it was
Pepsi
like their
Max,
new
right.
product.
Right.
And they were like, it was like I was like the awful version. They were like, Pep Climax does this, but Pepsi Max is crisp and refreshing. It's
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it had water. It would.
I mean,
I feel like another commercial did have a similar idea where they were like, choose this and not this, and they were very similarly named.
Do you
but they
remember?
weren't,
You remember editing it? I remember we shot it, and it like the end result of the script was like 90 seconds, and I remember
That's
being
right.
in my basement, and we were like, "Holy fuck! It's 3 times as long as it's supposed
Right.
to
That's
be."
why the edit is so like, God, they get through
It's
this
like
joke so
splat
fast.
Yeah, it has to get through it fast. But yeah, we uploaded it 11 years ago. It has 3.7 thousand views, so
Yes.
So many people love
can't
Pep
really
Climax.
complain for Pep Climax. He lives on,
He does.
But yeah, I think it might have been the first time I filmed you too, Huey.
It was. That was the first time I had been to Mike's apartment.
Right.
There was a whole lot of firsts there, man. It was a wonderful time. I miss podcasting mostly just because I miss having an excuse to go do nothing but like hang out and talk about shit that's interesting to me with my friends. Like it's a perfect excuse to do that.
Why do you?
I mean,
think
like right
still
now,
do
this
it?
is like I love doing this. It's like my favorite thing to do. But unless
Huey,
you can
on that
frame it-
note,
Yeah.
whatever happened to Warp Whistle?
Warp Whistle
Mike,
is
I'm so happy you brought that up because that was on my agenda too.
man, Warp Whistle. Warp Whistle was
Explain
originally
explain what it is.
a long time ago. I had an idea to do a podcast about video games, and I went to a good buddy of mine, a friend of the show, Adam Chase, and all peoples. And I was like, I got this idea, but you're like in this video game world. He did a bunch of stuff with MagFest, and he's like, cool. Let's call it Magcast and do a whole other podcast with other people. Originally, my first person I went to was Mike TV. I was like, Mike TV, he seems like a perfectly video game type person.
I mean, he is video games.
Yeah, that dude eats fucking drinks and
He's the
sleeps
wizard.
video
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And so
His
yeah, it was
basement is nuts. It's nuts.
and then so I did that for a while, but then that all fell apart for this reason or that.
So Magcast was on Thundergrunt 1.0.
Magcast was on Thundergrunt.
Yeah.
So
There-
you're telling me that you gave them the idea for Magcast basically, and they weren't going to do a podcast beforehand,
No.
but then you had this idea, and Adam Chase was like, "Love it, I'm going to run with that,"
Yeah, he became the host.
I'm gonna run with it. It's now Magfest podcast,
and you're not a part of it.
and one day I'm gonna let the payment lapse and lose half the show.
That did happen.
That
and so I went back and I actually through I'm pretty proud of that show. I think it was funny and had a lot of cool, funny moments.
So you did have some recordings of it.
Yeah, I went back and I found I had Adam send me, oh God, it was like episodes 18 to whatever the last episode is, I think like 37 or something. And so I went and I figured out how to do basic film editing, and I just did like a splash page of the art that I had made for the show, and just the name of every episode, and then I uploaded that to a YouTube channel called like Magcast, the Classic Years or something like that. And I can't find the first chunk of that show. It's gone. Nobody has it downloaded. It's when Magcast lapsed from whatever Podbean or whatever it was, they just delete the show. So those first few episodes are dead. They're gone.
Unless there's still a chance somebody might have them.
There's a chance, but
you can't use the Wayback Machine to get downloads of them.
Does that work?
That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I have not tried that.
Jesus,
But
I don't know, Mike. That might actually work. I don't know if that actually does, but
I mean, I would love to have those episodes.
I mean, you can find deleted tweets, right? And I know that's not the same thing as a download, but I mean, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. It was.
but
I mean, yeah.
it's funny how Warp Whistle was basically completely taken from Huey.
Right.
I mean,
I was still
technically
part of it. It wasn't
Still
totally
were,
taken
yeah.
out of my hands.
Yeah.
But
I just found that audio file for that theme song the other day, and and then I was like, oh yeah, and I'm doing this. I got to bring it up. I got to bring up Warp Whistle.
Yeah,
Did you write the theme song?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
You asked me to do Warp Whistle, and I did the theme song. If you used it or not, I don't know. But if you didn't, that's fine. But no, I took the boo doo 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 of the Warp Whistle thing, and I kind of incorporated it into this like just techno beat for about 30 seconds.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't even remember. No offense.
That's okay.
It was because
I do so much of that kind of shit. I'm not. It's fine.
Yeah, you're so prolific at making like these intros for
15-second
people.
crap songs. Yeah.
Dude,
You know what? Actually, I was gonna ask you to make another theme song, Mike.
Okay, cool. I'll do
I
it.
probably will. Because I was thinking I don't want to use for Writers Blockbusters. We use the General Cinemas, like 90s General Cinemas music that you watch before the movie. But I was
Gotcha.
thinking I was like for the 80th episode or whatever's coming up. I was like, maybe we should have non-copy. That probably is copyrighted, I guess.
Probably.
YouTube has never recognized it as such, but it isn't our music,
Right.
So
We'll talk about it. It'd be good to actually sample it though, and whatever the new thing would be, so that way you're kind of harking.
I would want your version of that. Like,
okay.
You make something like that, but
okay, cool.
You wanted to. I'm sure the guys don't care either. I was just like, we don't own this, and I'm still because everything we're talking about in this episode is basically just how like jerry rigged this whole process has been in my life. Like I still to this day kind of don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm doing it. Maybe I'm doing it better than maybe some people I know, but it's always been at the seat of your pants.
Yeah,
it's always been like that. Like we didn't really know what podcasts were when we did our shows, both of them.
Oh, dude, we were well outside of the mainstream.
When that transferred to Albs, we definitely didn't know what was going on. Dude. And somehow I'm like here, it's 2022, and I'm like, God, all these years of me recording my voice and posting it to the internet, I still kind of don't know what I'm doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like because podcasting is so new in the world.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
And
it's
yet,
obviously blown up. I mean, it's
right.
really popular.
And like and now what it's become is like there are more like fiction shows now on than there used to be. I remember when podcasting first hit, I was like, they should do old timey radio shows again.
Right.
And more people are doing that now.
Like a narrative podcast is not easy to make.
No.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of work.
Dude. I haven't shared this with you, but Wes has made a couple and has never released them, and he played them for me. Oh, okay.
Remember? I've been.
No, but that was Wes's friend making them. These Wes just did. And it's like all on his own, and he did all the sound editing and everything himself. Wow. And it was like a historical thing where he talks about, I don't know, like a criminal who runs into the deep woods of Canada, and people find him, and then there's like a shootout, and he does like fake interviews with like the deputy and stuff at the time, and he's doing all the voices. And like then he's like recreating the shootout, so he's like interlaying gunshots and everything. It's like it's wild. Like he did a surprisingly.
Is he going to release them?
He'd like to, and because he listens to some historical podcasts, so he decided to try to make a couple of his own. And the amount of work that this guy, I just know from the editing how much time he put into it, and the fact that he did it all on a phone is insane. But I was pretty impressed.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, it's always like, no offense. So I'm sure this is great. I think I actually might have heard some of it. He might have sent me some of it.
Yeah.
But this is not me talking about Wes. It's just in general. The thing is, like, when it comes to internet creativity, like in the 90s and back, we didn't have what we have now. When it comes to doing stuff now creatively, I think we kind of said this yesterday when we were in person. Like, you have to have a presence and a know-how to release things. Like, you can just start posting stuff. Like, you can post stuff, but to get people to pay attention to it anymore, it's
if he just started uploading these podcasts without like a brand, without like a solid name,
just without having any presence on social media. at all.
Exactly. A website.
Yeah.
It was weird as you even need websites for most things now, even though no one uses your website and they just go to your social media. Still, so many people think you have to at least have a homepage that says something.
Yeah.
Mine's just the Podbean homepage.
Right.
I'd make a website, but yeah, but like, it's not me talking about Wes. I'm just saying, like, it's that different thing. Like, you can put all the time into actually making the content, but there's people who will make horrible shit, but they're so good at social media, they'll actually be way more popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different world. It's a completely different world. And like, the fact that you have to keep up with that is kind of sucks.
I keep trying to. So, like, I think the thing that appeals to me about podcasting more than any of the other stuff that I have attempted or tried to in the past is that podcasting feels very natural to me, because it's just like, talking to people, and I love to do that.
Yeah.
But like, I had a website called fictionnuggets.com for a while.
I remember
and
that.
I tried to do a thing where I would write a bunch of stories and stuff. And I wrote a bunch of stuff. And every time, the thing that always hits me whenever I write or record or anything outside of just this, that feels like very much like myself talking, is that I have absolutely nothing new to say. and that I am like, every time I'm in it, I'm just like, God, who gives a fuck? This is like 5,000 times already on the internet. So why are you
think like
spending
that,
time on
never
that?
do anything, honestly.
Exactly. But I mean, like, this completely alleviates this. I don't feel like I have anything original to bring to the table here necessarily, but at the same time, this is just, it feels more like a thing I'm doing that I would be doing either way. Like, this is not a thing I'm trying to push myself to do. I just like talking to you guys. So if there's ever a situation where I get to do that and, somebody else might enjoy hearing the conversation, I love doing that.
I created Shrimp Night.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Shrimp Night. I created it for two reasons. One was Michael Winslow. Two was because I kind of wanted a show where I could not care.
Yeah.
For the reason that I actually thought that not caring about format and everything would actually bring out something a little bit different and good that my entire podcasting life, even up to you guys, because our shows had sort of formats.
Yeah.
Like, I had never had a non-format show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I watch all these, most of the podcasts I watch, and I watch a lot of them, are comedians podcasts.
Yeah.
Like I watch Howie Mandel, I watch Bobby Lee, I watch Bert Kreischer, I watch all that stuff. It's literally just comedians talking to people. And I'm like, if I'm a fan of all of these, I kind of want to do that. So it's like, to respond to what you're saying, Huey, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I love natural human conversation, and they're not always they're talking about anything. And I'm like, that sounds lazy, but I'm like, it's not. That's kind of the value in it. I like highly curated podcasts too. Don't get me wrong. I do like that too, but
it's funny to me because, like, a lot of the way that I podcast now comes from how you podcasted, because I wanted to, like, I stick to this format, and it's like, ever since I was in Albs, it was always about formatting. And so I always, like, even when I did my own podcast with Matt, when we did They Know, which I fucking loved doing, and
rest in peace. Yeah,
dude, it is such a tragedy that show died the way it did, but it's
not your fault.
Literally life. Yeah, I know.
The world killed that show. It's
the
not
world
funny to talk
became
about
too fucked for it to be funny to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But I mean, even then, I had a format to that show.
Once people are lining up to wait for JFK Jr. to rise from the dead to run for president, talking about conspiracy theories isn't funny anymore.
It's just.
I mean, if you stuck to just cryptids, maybe, right?
I've shopped around.
Talk about that though,
Yeah, I've shopped around with Matt a few times. I was like, one thing we could do is if we just adapted it to Crypto Zoo Illogical. That's one thing. Or I said
really just, like, non-political conspiracy theories.
Yeah, pretty much. I said there's a whole, like, Matt and I always I work with Matt, and at work we'll always talk to each other about, like, these ARG games that are really bizarre, that kind of blend the line between reality and stuff. And I was like, we can talk about that. That's interesting stuff. It's still pretty cool. And these things go on for months at a time. So there's, like, a thing you could conceivably talk about. But in the end, it's like, I don't know. There was something is gone that will never return for that show, and I just have to accept that and move on and do another podcast about something else that I wanted to do.
But you know what though, I wouldn't beat yourself up, because the one thing is podcasts end.
Yeah,
Like that, like more than any other like creative thing. That's
they just
right.
straight
I
up.
mean, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I was like the fact that I'm still podcasting, I take a little bit of pride in. The fact that I didn't quit doesn't mean I'm great or anything. It just means I didn't fucking quit. I know so many people that just stopped. You know, like, and I don't look down on them. I don't anything. It's just something that people start and fucking quit on. It's like, because
I'm proud of when you and I did Soda Milk the same way, because we stuck with it for a year, which was the plan. We ended it how we wanted to end it, and it was done. And like, you know,
I literally said to Mike when we were making it, I was like, dude, you realize that we just added another podcast for me, basically. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, we were doing it on a regular basis. And I was like, it's just another podcast. I got to promote it like another podcast. I was like, it just added another show. But we totally fucking finished it.
You finished that, and you got recognition for it. You guys went on another podcast, and you got interviewed about it.
We got that, and David Allen Greer, he did retweet it. That's right. That was the moment that we were like, okay, it was worth it.
You know,
totally.
Just earlier today, I posted. There's a picture that you took of Ripley and Trixie sitting on that couch.
Yes.
And in the background is Sergeant Fish. And I posted that on a group that I'm in Discord. And I was like, here's Ripley, Trixie, and Sergeant Fish. And I was like, shit, man, I wonder if I can find that Sergeant Fish intro. It's on my
YouTube.
Military something.
You know what though, Bob? If you search for it, I can't find it.
I can't find it, dude. I tried.
No, I mean, maybe if I go directly to your page, but if I just type in Sergeant Fish theme, so like I can't find it anywhere. And I was like, I swore I wanted to hear it again.
Type in Sergeant Fish Bob Rose. Always type my name, because my name's the channel name.
Okay.
It just came up first thing. Sergeant Fish
I had to dig. I wanted to see the video, and I had to dig
it's
through
also on
Soda Milk
YouTube
episodes to see it.
If you go to the YouTube channel or go to the Facebook page, it's like pinned to the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, look up Bob Rose. If you're ever looking for one of my videos or anybody's channel, type in the channel name and then the video name.
Okay.
That's usually a good way to find things. But yeah, it came up first.
Is it on YouTube or Facebook?
I mean, I just looked it up.
It's on both. So just type in Sergeant Fish, but add Bob Rose.
Bob Rose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you should find it. Okay, cool.
There's also a guy with another channel named Bob Rose that has a video named Fishing, and it looks fucking creepy. But yeah, like so Brandon,
that's one of the favorite things I've ever created in terms of music. I'm so proud of that.
I love it. I'm
so proud of that song as a song, because also the lyrics just kind of fell out of me. I was like walking through a food court at work, and immediately the first line hit me, and even the whole melody, like all of it hit at once. And I was like, oh, holy crap. This is like, it doesn't always work that way, you know?
There it is.
It's my second favorite thing you've done.
Excellent.
Timecrowave is still
Timecawave's the first one. Nice.
But I'm proud of that, even that video, and I didn't spend that much time.
The video's, I mean,
the video's great.
It's so good.
It's good. But I was gonna say the last episode of the show was Brandon Hardesty, and he messaged, for some reason, him doing the show made him message me, and he was like, I'm watching through for the first time all of Soda Milk.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't think he ever watched it before, and he was like, he fucking loves it. You know,
I was going to say, after all the stuff he talked about on that episode about the like I'm going to call it the non-content that he was trying to create of really just trolling the internet.
And with you.
And he loves that sort of thing. Yeah, I would think he would love Soda Milk.
I tried to, back then I was like, you guys should watch. I don't know if you're just always busy. You know, I was like, we were doing this thing with Soda Milk. You probably should check it out.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really proud of Soda Milk. I still wish it went slightly more viral. Of course, like just a little. I don't even need.
It deserves to. Famous. It was that is a legitimately like. I mean, I had very little to do with that, if anything. And
I mean, you're in an episode.
You're in an episode.
I'm in exactly one episode.
Yeah.
But
you're the only other person in an episode.
That's true. I am.
Here's a perfect public time to apologize to Huey for I always felt bad that we never kept doing Sonic Warriors, because
Oh,
Yeah.
The idea was to make Huey a Sonic Warrior.
Yeah.
But we totally came up with that. We were like, we're gonna do it, and then we
here's a movie
fucking
poster
did.
for it.
Hey, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah,
Huey
like
did
the
make the movie
poster.
poster. Yeah.
The poster was kind of my way to button
that
Sonic
whole
Warriors.
thing.
It was like, it'll never exist. We'll never do Sonic Warriors again.
Right.
But this is the tombstone in a happy way. This is the tombstone for Sonic Warriors.
Yeah.
Right. And Huey is on there.
And Huey's on it.
Huey's on it. And for anyone listening that doesn't know, Sonic Warriors was a web series. I guess you call it that, right? It was a web series. It was a thing. We did 7 episodes of where Mike, our friend Ben played like shitty Power Rangers, and I played like a shitty Zordon. You know, it was what it was. We had a lot of fun. Our friends liked it, and that was it.
Yeah.
I still quote that show all the time. If I see something I
that's
don't
good
like,
stuff.
I will say, "No, Carlos, that's not bueno."
That's not bueno. Yeah, I
no
every
muffin
once in a
fucking
while
way.
things. Yeah, you say there's no muffin fucking way
No muffin fucking
pretty
way.
frequently. I hear you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only vestige of that left on YouTube is the Crash the Super Bowl thing.
Oh my god,
That's right.
right.
We did. That's right.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, and it's a Crash the Super Bowl entry that obviously didn't win, but
Why didn't it win?
because it's fucking insane. Is why.
dude. The first one's
It doesn't
insane,
make
but then
any
you did a
sense.
commercial for that commercial.
Right, where there's just like the jelly arms and stuff, right? Like you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have
Oh
to
my
stretch
God.
that.
Ben
way.
was sitting down and it does that little thing with his foot. Oh my god.
Yeah, which is on my channel too. It's like that stuff because I don't have the actual episodes up anymore.
Right.
They're on Facebook, but I think they're private. I can't even fucking remember. But like that was this giant thing for us we used to do. I think we met Huey while we were making them, right?
You must
I mean,
have
that is
because
kind of like our first thing, right? Like Sonic Warriors was the first thing we made for the internet together. Me
yeah.
and Mike. it
Yeah,
was-
like that we didn't make for a class or something. Yes.
yeah, that was the first like internet thing, right?
Yes.
I remember when you did the Extremist
The
Yes.
extra mice.
because
The extra mice.
Hava's in
the
that.
extra mice.
Yes.
Yeah, Hava's in
Yes.
that, right? Yeah, you're.
And Hava used to say that's no bueno. She used to
Yeah.
quote that line. Pretty
Yeah, I think
frequently.
that part rubbed off on me from her, but the muffin fucking way, that was always.
And the first episode was just me and Ben.
Yep.
yeah.
I was just editing it.
Bob
on
wasn't
my
even in there
new-
yet.
Yeah.
On yeah,
Back
Bob
of the
wasn't in
Goggle
it.
Demons.
Yeah, I just I had the idea, the song came to me, and then I was like, I want to make a show out of this song. And
Ah.
then I was like, Ben, come over and we'll just like, we had both just gotten Mac laptops or something, and we're like into iMovie.
I think the reason I ended up taking over the editing was because Ben's laptop was like rendering the second episode for like, what was it, 15 hours? He
Yeah,
was at
we
my
were over
mom's
your
house.
place, and it was at
Yeah.
the last percent for like 6 hours.
It was horrible. It was
froze.
whatever it was. It's just terrible. Yeah, it was awful. But
Because
yeah, then
we were pushing that program to its
beyond
absolute limit.
Because like we said, it was a shitty Power Rangers, so we had to of the time use all.
We had to have some effects.
Yeah,
to some degree,
Yeah,
and-
and Sonic Warriors like literally was how I learned to edit. I didn't know what editing
Yeah.
was before Sonic Warriors.
Oh man.
Like if I ever was famous, I'd have to talk about Sonic Warriors and be like, "This is where I came from. It's this thing that I can't show anyone because there's some jokes we're not proud of."
Right? Yeah.
There's a few jokes
Each
we're not
one.
proud of.
There's some
Yeah.
jokes that no longer pass the sniff test.
We
for
could
sure.
edit them out.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Make a safer cut. But
For
yeah,
sure.
Sonic Warriors it wasn't a podcast, but it was the first time after all these years. It's like 20 years ago, right?
God.
It's got to be.
It's
where-
got to be because
that's the first time I made anything and posted on the internet and hoped people I didn't know would like it.
Speaking of quoting it, Kay and some of Kay's friends used to quote, I think it's from the episode Shusen. And it was an outtake, actually. It might not have even been the episode.
What
it might have been one of the
episode?
outtakes.
What's the episode?
Maybe
called?
the one that shoots in when we're
Shoot.
babysitting.
6.
And it might have actually been the outtakes from that episode, but it had to be from the outtakes because you slowed down me saying you ruined everything.
You ruined
And so you ruined everything. And so like that for some, I remember some of Kay's friends just saying you ruined everything to
ruined
me in that way. Yeah.
No, I remember
Which is really more quoting you if you think about it, because you're doing the effect than it is me, really. Yeah.
It's just like I kind of wish Huey. I wish you were involved in that.
For sure.
In my memory, I feel like you were, even though you weren't.
You know what's weird is a lot of people say that to me about a lot of different things. People will always say, "I feel like you were there for that," but it'll be like 6 years before they met me. And like, yeah, but that's happened to me like across like 4 different friend groups where people will be like, "I feel like you were there for the whole thing." I don't know. I don't know. I put off good background energy, I guess.
Yeah, and that the people are associating you with fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. So
that
I'm
was
not
a
mad
fun
about
time. That was a fun time. There were a lot of people there. Huey had to be one of the people there.
Exactly.
Yeah, he just re-edited it in their brains.
Yeah.
What were real quick, the names of the Sonic Warriors episodes was the Attack of the Goggle
Attack
Demons.
of the Goggle Demons.
Yep.
The Extremists.
Was that 2? Was the Extremist? Or was
Yes,
it-
because Campus Crusaders the third
number
one.
3.
Yeah, and the Campus Crusaders.
4 was the Womanizer.
The Womanizer.
Scent of the Womanizer. Yeah.
Scent of a Womanizer.
Of a Womanizer, which, to be clear, was about an actual penny that turned men into women.
Yes, a penny that gave a person the power to turn men into women.
So he womanized.
Right, right.
Of the Womanizer.
Yes.
that joke.
There was a penny genie in the penny. So
You have
just
to
to be
explain
clear,
that joke so it's not like horrific. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
like, he womanized people, but
it was a nerd who couldn't get women, so his plan was to turn everyone into women, so that way someone would date him.
right. And that was number 4, right?
Yeah.
5 was the judge or be judged.
Judge or be
Right.
judged.
Judge or
That
be
was my
judged.
favorite one.
Yeah.
What was the
Because it
name?
had the commercials.
We started to up the game a little bit in that one with the editing and stuff.
6 was the babysitting one. What was that called? I can't believe I can't remember.
I don't know. We make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches though.
What's the one where
I'm trying to look it up.
with Satan?
That's the
7.
last one.
And what's that? Yeah, that was the last one. God, that end of that shoot was like horrific. I was just
We fought Satan.
we fought. Yeah, we were like, wouldn't it be funny if the whole show ends with us killing Satan? So the show ended with like evil ending. So technically,
Right.
that universe should be perfect.
Son
It
is for pussies.
Right. It has no problems anymore.
Oh my god,
Sonic's
man.
So, Huey, I don't know if I ever told you this. I told Bob this idea, and I might not get it out right because I'm trying to remember it in real time.
Yeah.
But my idea was like in the movie, there would be a scene where when you show up,
Sorry.
What?
Mind comfortably numb.
Mind comfortably numb.
right, with the parking lot dimension.
Because we had Hitler 2. We had Hitler 2. I don't even know if this is offensive. It probably is super offensive.
Yeah,
But
probably.
It was
yeah.
Hitler 2 from another dimension
Right.
shooting people with a numbing ray. That was mind comfortably numb.
right. And also, that has so little to do with the premise of the whole episode. That's just like at the very beginning.
Dude,
that name is so fucking good, but also it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Mike. I interrupted.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But my idea was like a crime or something would be happening. And it would show like, we got to stop them. And then we'd be running, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be there. And instead of, and like we're running full speed and the camera cuts over to your character. And instead what you do is like you walk yourself into traffic. A car hits you, kills you. An ambulance shows up, takes you. You end up in the morgue. The morgue takes you. Eventually end up in the cemetery, and you die. Grass grows where you are. Eventually, enough time passes that the graveyard becomes a cow pasture. A cow eats the grass right above where your grave was. The cow gets slaughtered, turned into hamburger meat. The hamburgers get delivered to a restaurant. A woman eats a hamburger, and then that woman is walking by the crime that we're about to prevent, and she shits you out, and then you punch the criminal. Like, it doesn't make sense.
That.
Like, time-wise, it doesn't really make sense. Like, how did that happen? And you get there before we get there, and like, we're like blown away by your powers.
I remember like the thing is that
specifically
I had
remember-
like every power
Yes,
ever. Right?
it was basically. I remember talking about it with Mike, and we were like, "He's essentially Superman, and he can handle everything." But Huey doesn't do everything, and we never answer why Huey
Right.
doesn't
I'm
do
just
certain
like,
things.
I have the capacity to do literally anything.
I remember us talking about like you and Carlos having trouble lifting a car, and then Huey's like, "I'll go do this," and like, wait, why would Huey just lift the car? He's so easy.
Just you going through such extremes. Just punch the guy.
Right.
Like you could have just ran over there. Anyway, that just cracks me up. This whole side cut.
we were starting to, like, back then we were starting to develop it into like more of a show Bible and stuff. I remember that we had talked about stuff like how we'll show that the Sonic Warriors are actually super horrible at even more so than we had. They were really bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
And like they don't actually care that they don't notice. It's not they don't care. They don't notice how bad they are at everything.
Yeah.
Like they'll literally like blow up a building, not realize that they cause all this collateral damage, and just think that they won the day. Kind of like a little bit like Tick, like he doesn't realize how much destruction he's causing and stuff, and he just cares about fighting crime and killing the bad guys.
Right.
Like that kind of thing. We were like trying to develop that.
Like we care about friendship and being heroes, and that's like kind of it.
I remember you guys were telling me about like whatever the next episode was going to be, and it was called Heavy Meta. And that was where the show is so good that it will require all the metal in the world to forge enough awards or something.
No, it was the villain. Oh my god. We should still use that in something. The villain he made an award show where he was going to give everyone a Best Actor award on Earth, because his movie was just a shot of Earth, a wide shot of Earth.
Right.
And the Sonic Warriors had to stop the movie from winning Best Actor, because that would mean all the Earth's resources would have to be completed to make the victory statues.
At no point in time in this chain does anybody say, no, we can't just make the statues. Like,
it's such an insane premise. Like that's the villain's like threat, is that he's gonna make a movie starring the Earth.
And when I win Best Picture, they all shall win. It's
and it was Heavy Meta. That was the name.
That is so good, man.
I don't think we talked about it more than that. I just remember the victory statues thing. We called them victory statues, not
right. And then we parlayed that into that other idea we came up with the idea of somebody. Of a movie contest where you send in a VHS tape in order to win a victory statue, and then another commercial that's like, do you have too many victory statues and need blank VHS tapes? And then you send in the trophies to get blank tapes. It was just like this weird commercials that ran back to back.
And then it started adding things that you get. Remember, it was that's when we had the thing where it was like the stands that would hold the tapes, and then you need gloves to handle the stands because they're coated in a poisonous paint, and then the gloves had like a case that you had, and then you needed something to protect the case, so you had like the catapult or the
the catapult. It was this cat-shaped catapult.
The
that would launch things at intruders.
Is that where imitation tables came from?
Yes,
it's probably where imitation.
It was in that line of thinking. Tables that they look like tables.
But they are completely
unusable. But you can't put
unusable?
anything on them, and you can't touch them because they're poisonous.
You can't use them like tables.
And then you had to get special gloves to handle them, and the gloves came with a case. And
it was like that Barack Obama plate that I have that is like completely unusable as a plate because it's coated in like a poisonous thing. It's like the real world version of that.
God,
it was the kit. Remember the kits thing? We're like,
and then and the something digging kit, the fossil kit,
the kit. It was just a shovel. It was a shovel and an idea book.
Right. Yeah, you loved idea books. God, you loved idea books.
Yeah, it's just like, because what is it? It's nothing. Yeah. Well,
that reminds me vaguely of the real world thing of when I did this one diet and the book had different recipes, and there was literally a recipe for sliced pear. And the two instructions were slice pear in half, enjoy pear with almonds. I was like, why is this
almonds?
Almonds came into the picture. And I was like, this is not a recipe. You can't call this a recipe.
This is not a recipe.
So you just sliced it in half and ate it.
Almonds.
It might have said sliced pear with almonds, and then it just said sliced pear, enjoy pear with almonds. So I was like, God damn.
Somebody phoned it in that day.
Okay, wait. I don't this is a vague memory, but do you remember the thing about the recording equipment that was like proprietary, that only had proprietary sound?
You could only record in. It had no output, right?
It had no output. Like you could only record in, and like everything was proprietary that you hooked to it. Like nothing was usable. I don't remember what the.
I remember you saying it records 300 hours of crystal clear quality sound.
But you can't listen back.
You have no way to listen to it.
I think that's actually where those stands might have come into play, because I remember you calling one the Patriot. They were like they had different.
No, it had
like
a Patriot. It was the Patriot.
The Patriot pack.
It came in a bunch of different colors, including the Patriot style.
Right.
Patriot. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
I don't even know why we came up with all that.
Because we were watching a lot of Tim and Eric and just coming up with shit like that.
Yeah.
Glow bones. I mean,
right. Like literally, we just wanted to make Adult Swim shows that were just nothing but commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an Adult Swim show that wasn't, because Tim and Eric, obviously Awesome Show did that, but they did a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
I think the show we wanted to make in a different dimension where we actually did it was like, it literally would be like, 15 minutes to half an hour of pure commercials that never end.
Right.
It's like you would also like call it Also Included or something, because it would always add some new thing you'd get.
Right. Or If You Act Now.
Yeah.
Act
You know what I mean?
Act now.
Act Now would be good.
Act Now.
I mean, it's like it's sort of what Albs was, because there's a commercial in every episode. And so the commercials got progressive. You can absolutely tell the difference between a U episode and a JD episode, because episodes with you always have these most psychotic commercials for the thing. Like the products are insane.
Mine were like, I would always think of the like a dumb problem you have to solve, and that's where I came from. Like at JD you like wordplay more, and I was more about like, well, what if you want to become a ghost? And they sell like, a giant wood chipper, but they call it something else. You just push yourself in it, and you call it like, it's a machine to transform you into a ghost, but it murders you.
Right.
Like that's all it is. And then I add on how much power the machine takes and how like installing it in your house is like a fucking nightmare.
And now we'll sell you this generator.
To power the machine.
Generator can only run on one specific kind of fuel.
Fucking what's the blood one that we did, Bob? The one where
hemoglobin out.
Hemoglobin out
instead of in. And that was to stop. That was when Don't You Hate It that your blood stains all your clothes?
Yeah.
We're gonna transform your blood into a non-stainable liquid.
A non-stainable substance.
In case it gets outside of your body.
Yeah. 40 times a month. It was just more than one a day.
Yeah, the transfusion machine was a nightmare. You had to dedicate a whole room of your house to it. It's like a fucking nightmare.
Push detergent into your blood.
And in the commercial, we like passively say it doesn't it's like 30% effective in getting oxygen into your bloodstream.
It reduces your blood oxygen level.
And we say it like a positive. It's just like shit like that. Like, why not just make for that money and amount of effort, you can just buy new shirts.
Right.
You don't need to change your blood.
I thought you were about to say, like, you end the commercial saying there's only a 30% chance it'll work. So, like, it still stains 70% of the shirt.
For all this shit.
It's not even guaranteed. All these injections.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
that would be a really funny show, actually. Just like all commercials for psychotic.
It would
stuff.
tire you out. Like after watching one episode, you got to take a nap.
Albs was a sapping experience. I mean, you were on Albs, Mike. I mean,
sure.
I can't remember what commercials we did with you. I remember you were Huey. You were the announcer a lot.
I think we talked about Man on the Moon, but I don't remember what the commercial was.
Oh man, I remember you were there for a few. You were there for the gay sex one. But it wasn't your actual show, I think. It was Victor's.
That's right. We were playing Borderlands.
You were playing Borderlands, and we were recording at Albs with Victor.
Yeah,
it was the history of gay sex audio or something, which it has like 15,000 views on fucking YouTube
because of that name.
Because of the name,
almost definitely.
Yeah. It's like it's really popular, but you're in that. I know that, but I can't remember what your episode was. Anyway, it wasn't easy. Like that show would have not been easy to make, but if you had Adult Swim behind it.
Honestly, I think one of the reasons why that show was grueling to make, in my opinion, is you guys, the amount of like smoke breaks Matt would take, and the amount, it just seemed like it's like we could bang this out in 2 hours, guys. We could really bang this out in 2 hours.
Also,
you know,
it was a full day.
It didn't.
Oh,
Really...
and insisting that you write the sketches all in real time,
that's what I was gonna say.
Sorry, bud. Sorry.
No. I agree that you were.
No,
there.
I'm not disagreeing. I was there.
Yeah.
It was
the biggest problem.
I feel like the legend of Elbs is more about how it was such a fucking nightmare to make, more so than the actual show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of our friends, I literally had a friend just on Saturday say, is there anywhere I can find Elbs? And I was like, nope. And I don't want you to be, because we were young and we said a lot of things I'm not proud of. But
oh yeah.
But you know, they were like, I really enjoyed that show though, and I was like, I'm glad. You know, the
let it live in your memory.
Yeah, the skits and stuff are still on Matt's.
Because if you watch, if you listen to it again, you might not enjoy it.
You might not even like some of us anymore. You know, like
right.
It was 10 years ago. I'm not proud of some of it, but I'm proud of, much like Sonic Warriors, I'm proud of the sketches, and I'm even prouder of the commercials.
Yeah.
You know, so
there's only one commercial I wish was not on there, and that's
yeah, well, there's a few of them that I was like, oh boy, yeah, oh boy, but yeah, there's some of them are really good.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's our adult show swim, Mike, that never happened.
Yep.
That's the that's the one thing I wish happened, you know, but whatever. You know, I'm not like crying about it. I'm just saying
the fossil kit was something with sloths, wasn't it? Giant sloth fossil kit. It was about finding giant sloth fossils or something like, and then the idea book was part of it. I don't know, for some reason that was clicking in my head. Giant sloths.
And there was something with a hose too.
I'm sure.
I can't remember. Man, we should have.
I can never stop thinking about the trophies for VHS tape for trophies thing, like these warehouses of just, you know.
We thought it was fucking hilarious.
We did. I mean, Victory Statues is a funny name for trophies. It's hilarious. And
it probably would have been like, you know, a Crazy Ernie type of commercial, right? Like, are you tired of, you know, like that?
Right.
You know,
and like a guy on a green screen in front of a giant warehouse. It's like, I got thousands of these, you know?
Yeah. Right. Like, it would have been that, and it would have just kept progressing to be more insane every time. It would have went away. It wouldn't, like, by the time it's over, it's not even talking about tapes or Victory Statues. It's like,
right. Yeah. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Although looping it right at the end would be neat. I think I read online Too Many Cooks is 10 years old.
Yeah.
That was weird to think about. I was like, wow.
So this happens to me obviously all the time, but stuff like, there's like this thing that's when Too Many Cooks or something like that goes viral. When Too Many Cooks went viral, do you understand? Like 20 people sent that to me.
I was gonna say you gotta get bombarded.
Yeah, I got hit. I didn't get hit with 20. I got hit with a few, but I
got hit with literally 20. I was overwhelming. How many people messaged me or tagged me in it? And there's part of me that was like extremely flattered that because I love Too Many Cooks, and I was like,
yeah,
totally flattered that thing made all those people instantly register my name.
Yeah. Sure.
And then there's like a small depressed part of me that's like, but I didn't make Too Many Cooks for Adult Swim, and I'm not working for Adult Swim. And you're reminding me,
right, yeah,
that you're like all of you are saying, how did you not make this? And I'm like, yeah, how did I fucking not make it?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a part
I feel that way about a lot of shit, for sure. Right. I was so impressed with it. I remember reading an article about Too Many Cooks from a musical standpoint, and how the two creators of the song, how taxing creating that song is, because that video is how long, and that song is that long.
Yeah.
And it constantly changes, and like trying to still make it seem like it's connected despite changing genre and change, like, and then the editing ties with the music so much. Like, they were just like, God, it was a lot. It was a lot to fucking get. They do a really good job, and it still works. There's nothing about it that doesn't work still. Like, it's.
But you get what
it's wonderful.
I mean, I feel like both of you would have that happen, right? Like something. is so on
Yeah,
your own vibe, and people are like, "Have you like I know I'm like the eighth
Right.
person to send you this, but you got to see it if you haven't."
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I even send Mike stuff like that. Mike sends me stuff like that. I send you stuff like that, Huey. But I mean, like when it's bombarding me, it's like there's like this happy moment and this truly sad moment where I'm like,
I try not to send you things like that, Bob, for that reason. I'm
'Cause
like,
you know
Bob's
other
already
people
knows
will.
this exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
often
like-
don't send you things because I'm like, if I send this to Bob, he's going to be like, you're the seventh person that sent
I
this to
try
me. So.
I try not to say that as much anymore because I realize how annoying that is.
You can say it to us though.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Get it?
Well, like, okay, good example. A rare occurrence. Pete Davidson did a song on SNL. Did you see SNL this weekend?
I did not.
He did a song on SNL. It was pretty good. Where he sings about short ass movies. So he's like singing how he wants movies to be shorter.
Mhm.
And there's like this whole like middle section where Simon Rex, if you know who he is, actor, but he
Okay.
does this whole rap about like, hey, I got 9 movies for you, and he lists all the Ernest movies. And so my friend Sean Jones sent me that, and he was like, I'm sure like 20 people have already sent you this, because I posted like an Ernest picture earlier today and it had nothing
Right,
to do with
right,
that.
right.
And I was like, no, actually no one has. Like no one's actually sent me this. So it was like a rare occurrence where the person sending noted that they thought that people would be, and then they didn't.
Bob, I found today while looking through files,
Yeah.
I found a file called Ernest Research. And it was you and I jotting down, we were going to make possibly your Ernest Christmas movie, or talking about it at
No.
least.
So okay, I wrote a script, part of one, for Son of Ernest Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was that what we were talking about.
Okay, so
But-
all this sheet was I think you and I were watching the Christmas one.
Saves Christmas, yeah.
Saves Christmas, and we were writing down things we could call back to or quote, or like, oh, remember he says his favorite meal is this. Remember, like at some point in time he says this is what his favorite meal is, or he has this catchphrase. Okay, like just and like the names of people. Like anytime he would tell a story about someone he used to know or something, we were like jotting. It just have to have any juice that
Right.
could be put into Son of Ernest Goes to Hell.
I actually read that script at Mike Ridgway's Ernest night at the Wind Up Space years ago. I found it and I was like, Mike, I found this. Can I read it to everyone there? And he was like, sure. And you know what? Okay, look, it's a pile of shit, but there's some really good ideas in there. Like I had like the fact that the tree from Ernest Scared Stupid was actually the gateway to hell.
Nice.
Like that was where actually how you entered into hell, like that where Trantor came up. And I had like I had Rimshot, who would obviously be dead by now. He was reincarnated. He was like the guy who was Ernest's like guy in the chair had actually put Rimshot's brain into a human. So Rimshot was his sidekick, but he was also human. And I had the way that the son found out about his father actually dying. His father had died, and the way he found out was that Santa told him. He came down from the North Pole and let him know. And he says, like, your father, for the first time before he died, I want you to know this, he was on the naughty list. Like, and he's always, ever since he saved my ass, I always owed him this one favor. So I want to tell you. Like, I was like, if I was older now and I wanted to write that, it's not that premise of Santa like being the guy to tell him he's on the naughty list and your father's in hell. I was like, that's pretty good. Because Santa owes him one,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Right.
like I was like, that's pretty fucking solid.
What did you have Ernest having done to end up in hell?
I don't think I got that far.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I got that far.
Because Ernest was such a good guy, so it's like, how the fuck did it would have had to be a trick, or it would have had to be something like
I think it was like Satan. He was like the purest soul or something, and Satan wanted his purity.
Gotcha.
And then his son
rigged the list or something. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And his son, his son would go. The joke was his son would go throughout finding people that can help him. And Ernest had saved so many things in the interim of the last Ernest movie to this one. Like every holiday, Ernest had saved. So every holiday character owed Ernest, like, you know, like, hey, your dad saved my ass, so I owe you this, or I'm gonna come on the journey with you. And it become like a Ernest Wizard of Oz, where you got like the sun and Rimshot, which is like a cyborg, and like maybe like the Easter Bunny, or like even Mother Nature or something, that all owe Ernest a debt of gratitude, because he just saved everything.
Right. He saved everything.
He constantly saved things.
All, man.
He bumbled his way through saving the earth so many times. And that was my general idea back then. You know, I mean, now I would never put time into that, but I was like really serious back then about it. Yeah.
I was serious enough, I was serious enough to try to help, because I thought the idea was really solid.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need, you know, any of the old actors if you don't want to.
Right, but it felt bad because you'd kind of want Jim Varney to be.
Yeah, you want Jim Varney to show up at the end.
Yeah,
but
you can't do it without Jim Varney. It feels wrong. There's like a made with a camcorder Sonic Warriors level movie on YouTube. That's a full length movie called like Ace and Ernie's Excellent Adventure or something, and it's Ernest's son and Ace Ventura going on like a little adventure. It's terrible.
Right.
I watched the whole thing.
Good.
Like, I watched the whole thing.
And sometimes I put it on in the background.
Like the guy doing.
I'm watching it right now, actually.
Yeah. The guy doing Ace Ventura is not that bad. Like, he's not good, but he's not that
He's
bad.
not Jim Carrey. You know,
Yeah, he's not bad,
is?
but it's a nice little effort. And, you know, I watched it. I even logged it on my letterbox. Like, I was like, this is a real movie. But yeah, I recommend that to you guys if you're ever truly bored.
What length is it?
It's probably like 50, 60 minutes.
So it's a short ass movie. Okay.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Probably feels like
I just remember the one scene that stood out to me was Ernest answers his front door with a broadsword. I don't
well, is that referencing something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know.
And he went to your front door.
Yeah, really. Well, look, I don't want to keep you guys that much longer. I feel like we're almost at 3 hours.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to I know you guys got to go to work and shit the next day.
That breezed right by, man.
I know.
It did.
It's great. I was going to say, is there anything else you wanted to talk about with like these shows or anything? I know that I knew coming into this that it's sparse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the other shows I could talk about, because like there was like we did it for a little while and there was like camaraderie, but like you guys are two of my best friends in the world, and we did this, and I was like, I know that there's not much to talk about with these fucking shows, so I knew
feel like we spun it into something relatively coherent.
No,
yeah, for sure.
No, I'm
sure.
not talking. It's been great. I just mean like this. I knew coming in, I was like, what the fuck can we say about Backrow Bastards other than
we almost did a thing.
We almost did a thing, and it didn't happen, but it was a podcast, and we didn't even upload it.
You know, when I was a little kid, and you know, I didn't have neighbors that were friends or anyway, I talked to myself a lot, and I used to take a tape recorder and I would just sit in my bed and do my own radio shows. You know, it's like brought to you by whatever. And for some reason, I wish I could find those tapes, man. What the hell was cool. 7-year-old me coming up with that he thought was the 7-year-old me thought was hilarious. But every
farts.
Right. Brought to you by Frank's Farts. Get your farts today.
Oh,
we
no, I got a poop.
We got them loud. You know,
it's pretty funny.
Just in, silent but deadly. You know, and that would have been hilarious to 7-year-old me.
That was a solid, like, off the cuff fart commercial, man.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Good. Pretty good.
I have often thought about doing a podcast, but I can never land on what I want it to be. And I love the format of just talking for sure. But I feel like if I were to do that, it'd be just, you know, not that you can't, kind of similar to what you were saying, Huey. What the hell am I saying that's brand new or anything? Or is anybody going to, obviously, yes, that think like that is ultimately stifling. But
hence why you need guests.
Right.
Yeah. Guests.
So my brain then turns to like something high concept, but then I think about all the work it would take to fucking make a high concept podcast. And then I'm like, you're already not doing all the other shit you want to do. Stop thinking about fucking podcasts. So,
you know, like when I think about They Know, I feel like I hit like the perfect level of like, I like to already read about conspiracy theories. So I was already doing that. And so this just was like a targeted way to keep this interesting, but also keep my own interest because I liked learning about these things. So it was like this. It was self-feeding. Like I was like super happy to continue to like find and research more weird shit because that was, and that was another way to carry on. Like, because even in my like the worst feelings of like why am I even doing this? I'm still learning about this stuff, but also it's really funny because like when you're with somebody else and you're both learning about that stuff, it's like naturally funnier because like this stuff is already bizarre as fuck, and then you have all of these like the way Matt reacts to things. I mean, like he's like a treasure trove of
he's the best reactor. He's amazing.
But I
if I
remember
miss anything about podcasting with Matt, it's that.
And there was a moment I did one episode where one of the people who listened to the show, they were like, dude, that episode was really good. I learned something. Like it wasn't like any of your other episodes.
Yeah.
And I was like, so wait, none of the other episodes have been at all informative. He's like, not really, but like this one, like I was learning things about it. And I was like, all right, well, that's one thing in the bank. But yeah, it is so much work. Like, I don't know that I would ever find a situation where I am that interested enough to continue to research on my own, even if I wasn't doing this. So,
right. You know what? Listening to both of you guys is making me think about myself. And outside of this show, which, I mean, whatever, I realized that the reason I lasted so long wasn't Albs and it wasn't this or anything. It was the fact that, like, Bonus Disc and Writer's Blockbusters were the one thing I thought I ever had anything to say about, which was movies. That's why I kept going. That's what kept me going, is because it was the one thing that I truly knew I loved, and I thought I might have had some fucking, thing to impart when I spoke. Yeah. So maybe that's why I kept doing it for so long. Like,
when I've thought about what I would do and I go down the music rabbit hole, I'm like, even though it's stuff I know about, like, I wouldn't want to do things that I could kind of just pull out of my opinion zone. God, Mike. Opinion Zone, Jesus.
There's the podcast name. The Opinion
Zone. You've just entered the Opinion Zone. Get ready to opine.
God damn it. Jesus Christ.
So it is like, if I did a music, I'd still have to do a fuck ton of research to make it how I would want to make it. Yeah. I'd still have to like bust my ass.
Right. Right. Like I don't really have to do that with the shows.
No. You're like, if you're going on the strictly opinion-based thing.
No, I mean, Bonus Disc, we watched, you guys have both been on Bonus Disc. You watch the movie, you react just to that.
That's true.
With Writer's Blockbusters, we watch the movie and treat that like it is, we just read the script and it's that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, both things are just the movie. We're not talking about cinema history or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? We're just talking about the thing we're just reacting to. So
this is not entirely related, but
yeah.
You're talking about, I had this idea when you were talking, two things. One, there's a comedy video I saw the title of on YouTube called What the Workers at Richie Rich's McDonald's Are Doing 90% of the Time. I never watched the video, but I thought it was a good concept because that's what we were talking about.
How did you not mention that earlier?
I know, we kind of got past it. Yeah, we kind of got past it, and then I didn't.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about the Sliders DVDs, and it made me think about how in the early days of DVDs, there were all those really not only weird proprietary cases, but like weird, like the Easter egg menu shit. And like how many people would do weird things with their menus, like how, if I can't remember what the title of it was called, but like it asked you at the beginning, are you local? And if you said no, it just froze the DVD player.
League of Gentlemen.
League of Gentlemen, right. It just froze. And I thought, like, is there a YouTube channel that basically
has just menus?
That basically goes through weird DVD menus of an era bygone that we are no longer.
The art of the DVD menu,
the art of the DVD menu.
I just remembered, like, I was talking about this like a week or two ago on the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I want to say it was season 3 DVD. If you hit play all, it played all the episodes simultaneously on your screen. And there was no way to make it play them all. You had to go through individually. That was the only option it gave you.
And you couldn't
what a
turn
psycho
it off. You couldn't
troll.
stop it. If
No.
you hit that, it did that, and you couldn't turn it off. You'd have to.
So
like,
it was broken up into like 16 squares or whatever,
Yes,
and
they
then
were all
played it-
talking at the same time. It was insane.
So
Right.
the other day I watched a lot of movie reactions. I've told you guys that.
Yeah,
I think at different times. I watched this one guy does my girlfriend watches, and he like watches movies she's never seen. So they both watched Fight Club for the first time,
Mhm.
and they're kind of like normal, not very bright people, but they were like, when you put the Fight Club Blu-ray or DVD in, it starts the menu like it's never been kissed, the movie Never Been Kissed. And then it glitches and it turns into the Fight Club, and it
does
shit.
it plays
So,
the
like,
music. Yeah.
Right, like it was like kind of like the social terrorism of the DVD menu.
Right.
And the two of them were like, yeah, we don't know. Like first we thought the DVD was wrong, but then it turns out that it was the right one. And I was like, do they not?
Well, he should know. If she hasn't seen it,
Right,
she
he
doesn't know
didn't
the
know. I
message
was
of the
like,
movie. But
"You've
he should
seen
get
it."
why it does that, right?
Yeah. But they reminded me. I haven't watched Fight Club with a physical media in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like they reminded me the DVD did that. And I was like, oh yeah, that was fucking great because it got me too the first time.
Right.
It actually
So yeah,
got
I just
me.
like somebody that just there has to be a channel that goes through DVD menus just for the shit's weird DVD. It's got to be.
I remember
Yeah.
when Wayne's World first came out on DVD, the whole menu is like, the Aurora TV station, and you could actually click on some of the programs, and it
That's
plays
cool.
like commercials or a little like snippet of the actual shows.
You have to think like, what was the motivation for like the movie companies to make weird,
DVD
time-consuming
menus.
to make DVD menus?
So
I think
that is a
physical media
great
was
question.
exploding. That's why. It was the thing
Ah.
before streaming. Physical media.
Yeah, but nobody was going like, "Oh my god, you got to get the Wayne's World DVD because of this."
yeah,
Like, it's just
it
it's
wasn't.
like
It wasn't advertised on the box.
right.
Like interesting DVD menus, right? One purchase away. It wasn't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So
it's
it was
just,
always
you know,
extras. It was extras, but it wasn't DVD menus.
Yeah, and just
And- oh my
weird
God.
DVD stuff like the
Like-
where you could go off the menu into other submen. It's weird stuff.
Easter eggs with DVD menus.
Yeah.
Dude, did you ever do the what was it? Rules of Attraction?
Yep.
Where, dude, yeah, if you go in the Rules of Attraction thing and you go to the commentaries, if you hit over, there's just a picture of a carrot, and you hit play, and it's a secret commentary track
yeah.
done by Carrot Top, who's not in the movie and has nothing to do with it. He's like, I was on
And
a
he's
plane
alone.
next
He's
to
not-
the guy who directed this, and he
He's not
asked
with
me
the
if I do it.
filmmakers.
Yeah.
He's just
So
he's just
good.
by himself.
That's so good.
Yeah, and it's just he doesn't say anything of value. It's awesome.
Dude,
And the thing
there's
is,
one
so
moment-
much of this stuff has been lost now that we're just doing
That's
Blu-rays
streaming.
and they're pretty basic.
Yeah,
so a
it's
lot
gone.
of these extra, like that commentary track, you can't get that.
Where
except
would
there.
you even find it?
It might be
Right.
like on something. It probably is on YouTube or something, but
Man.
without the movie, just the audio.
Or like Huey, like we talk about Bitch School all the time.
Yeah,
The song by Spinal Tap, and all of that little conversation that's on the VHS copy of Spinal Tap. It might be on the DVD too. Might probably on the DVD.
But it doesn't.
But yeah,
it always played before the movie. If it was on VHS, it didn't necessarily do that on the DVD. So.
right. And it's like, where's that, man? Like, is that on the Blu-ray?
how many times have I well, basically back in the day, did I say that one of my favorite comedic things I've ever imbibed into my body was the director's commentary to Talladega Nights, which is like,
yes, I've watched it with you. It's fucking hilarious.
I just like, I
God.
was like, this is, I love Talladega Nights, but I was like, this is actually funnier than the fucking movie.
When they would do like shots of the dinner and they're like, yeah, that was actually filmed in Albania. We had 1,000 people sew a black silk sky. And then this shot, and it's just like this other shot. It's like that was filmed in Brazil.
Dude,
damn
yeah. I'll never forget when I first watched it because I didn't know it was going to be him lying. I didn't know that it was going to be Adam McKay.
Right.
When he just starts out, he's like, "Yeah, I flatlined from 4 heart attacks during the production." and then when he gets to the fact that he is like surviving off. Because he's like, there's a shot of on a field, and he's like, see, this is actually the field where all the Easter Island heads used to be. And he's like, and I said to the studio, God damn it, I need an Apache helicopter rigged with like machine guns to take out the Easter Island heads. And he's like, and at that time I had a severe deficiency of vitamins, so I had a lot of the crew members, like, I was like asking for them to like basically feed me their blood. And, so there I was, consisting entirely on a diet of human blood, blowing up the Easter Island heads with an Apache helicopter. For like, and then the shot of the movie's like nothing. It's like,
Right. You went through all that. So
like,
good.
it's like, I wish more humans could listen to that. But I
Right.
don't, it's just like this little chunk of unknown thing because it's lost, right?
Yep.
Where do you hear?
Unless it's on the
commentary?
Blu-ray. I mean,
It's got to be on the Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
It's got to be on the Blu-ray.
That's the biggest thing I miss from like shifting to digital media more than physical, is that I don't really. I used to put on the commentary like before I even watched the movie. I just loved commentaries because they were so.
Yeah.
They're either like funny ones are great, but like just really insightful, like cool things about the movies. I always like that. It was just,
But a boring one is really bad.
It's really bad. Yeah.
Because then you can't watch the movie either. You're just like, I think, okay, yeah, no. This is the first time he wears the jacket.
You got to
right?
watch ones with Schwarzenegger, though. Schwarzenegger doesn't have the information, but it's him just going, oh, this is great. This is fun. Yeah, this was great. It's like, it's just him doing that the whole time, and it's wonderful.
God damn it. Yeah, I would enjoy that. That's
What's
fine.
so funny is that you guys were talking about this, and I only own one 4K Blu-ray, and it's Last Action Hero, which I bought for the fucking extras. Because it had like a new commentary with John McTiernan, right? I bought it day one. I was like, I'm fucking buying that. It came with the Blu-ray and it came with the 4K Blu-ray. The Blu-ray disc is the fucking same one I already own.
The pan and scan?
No, it's not.
Oh,
no.
okay.
It's the regular Blu-ray. the
Oh,
proper
okay.
one. And then there's the 4K disc, which I didn't know that. I don't know. I haven't like looked into 4K because I don't own a 4K anything.
yeah.
But I can't watch the 4K disc with the extra features.
God damn it.
So what's funny is this Saturday, my friend Sean Jones gave me a 4K player for $30 that he found on Facebook Marketplace, and it works.
Nice.
So
Hell
like,
yeah.
I own one. So he basically remembered that I can't watch the extras on my Last Action Hero Blu-ray, and he bought me that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
like
That's
I'm just
pretty
saying,
fucking cool.
for as far as someone who actually does care about extras, Sean remembered me
Right.
saying that
Yeah.
Right.
and kept his eye out for it,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And also one last thing I'll say about extra features. We were watching Mike Ridgway for Bonus Disc bought us a 12 movie set of all the Andy Sedaris films.
Oh,
Do you guys
yeah.
know who Andy Sedaris is?
Yeah,
I
he
don't.
did, like Day of the Warrior and shit.
Day of the Warrior. He made movies like Hard Ticket to Hawaii. They're basically
He made like titty action movies.
titty action movies with like softcore porn stars. It had a lot of movies with a lot of transportation, a lot of like helicopters and boats and women in skimpy clothing and a lot of machine guns and terrible spy writing.
Yeah.
Right. But they're on one of the DVDs. I was just clicking around. We were watching Bonus Disc, and I hit this weird little dot, and I push play, and it's Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, interviewing Andy Sedaris and his wife. And me and Matt were like, what the fuck is happening right now? But Tom Kenny had like a job where he must have been working for the DVD
Right.
company.
Yeah.
And he was like paid to interview fucking
That's
Andy
great.
Sedaris. And like this is way before SpongeBob, obviously.
Yeah.
But-
Wild.
Yeah, it was just like the fact that it was Tom Kenny. I was just like, what? Yeah. So
God, that's
like,
cool.
That something like that moment will never happen with streaming.
No.
Right.
Like where we discover
The closest thing I can think of is when I watched the interactive Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt movie. And there was an instance, spoilers, there's an instance where you have the opportunity to have Kimmy kill John Hamm's character. And it says like, crush his skull, shoot him in the face. You have like 4 options. And after you choose each one, it rewinds you back to the beginning. And if you choose, instead of choosing spare him, if you choose all 4 of the kill options, it takes you to like a secret path. which is him in hell, and he's like, and John Hamm's in hell. He's like, man, you really just couldn't let it go, huh? You really just had to like beat the shit out of it, you know? So it's like, and you only get that option if you had chosen all four. Like, so that's the closest thing I can think of that streaming can do.
Yeah.
Which is like optional Easter egg paths in the interactive shit. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, like I bought when Guardians 1 came out, I bought it like the second it was available, and I got the version that had the extra features, and they're not like underneath of it that you click on. They're just in the video after it ends. So whenever I play Guardians on my, like if I just, I'm looking for background noise, I play Guardians. I've watched the Guardian special features so many times because it just, I let it run and it just plays through all the 45 minutes of extra features. It doesn't.
It's so weird that they don't give it to you on a menu.
Yeah,
like,
that's
so
bizarre.
weird.
It's not a. Well, I think Vudu starts doing that. Like you can actually go to the page and click down, and there's like options. HBO Max has started doing that. Like if you go to a certain movie, if you go to Doctor Sleep, you go down and there's the director's cut. So it's kind of an extra feature. You know what I mean?
Doctor Sleep.
Spider-Man on Amazon just did that because I just watched that for the first time. I didn't see it in the theaters, and it's like the Spider-Man something version. And it's got a bunch of extra bonusy stuff that I didn't bother to deal with. But
I'm just saying they're trying to make it work.
It's not as good.
It's not fun. Weird. It's not fun. It's a way that you can access the stuff, but it's not like discoverable.
And the only real way you could do it is through like a Netflix like interface, but the interface itself was in on what you were trying to do.
Yeah, they'd have to give you, each movie would need its own UI.
Yeah, and that would be
and they don't want to
nuts.
No, nobody's going to do that. Not for this. It's
a really good concept. It's a really good concept for a movie, though. Like somebody makes a direct to Netflix movie that has its own fake UI. That could work. I mean, Netflix is already trying to do more interactive stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just menus and stuff, like that could get weird. That could get
when they
cool.
did that, what was it? The Bandersnatch thing? That was
that's like a choose your own adventure. Yeah, but
I was gonna say to round out the conversation.
Yeah, let's round it up. Wrap it up.
The one thing that to prove what Mike is saying about how like that was kind of like this huge deal for a moment is interesting DVD menus. All of the film contests I did back in the day, there was like every year there's always one team who did the DVD menu meta thing. Like there, no matter what, there is always the one team who is like, we're gonna be fucking clever and we're gonna make the DVD menu, and then you click on the wrong thing and that's the actual movie, or the actual movie is you see the DVD menu, you click it's the commentary with another movie or something.
Yeah.
The fact that was a thing that I can remember happening ad nauseum shows you the power of the DVD menu.
And that trope is gone, I'm sure, among all those.
I haven't seen it in a while. I guess it'd be even funny. It'd be better to do now since it's not popular anymore, like putting an old DVD and then
here's an idea for a horror movie. Just came to mind. It's called Bonus Creatures, and it's these little demons that basically get unlocked through through like a horror movie's DVD extras. And that's how these monsters get summoned. I don't have the rest of the plot, but I have the title, which is really most of it.
Bonus Creatures is great.
It's like whenever you click on an Easter egg in the menu, it summons a demon creature.
Yeah.
It like says,
now why was this DVD created to summon these creatures? It doesn't matter.
It could be like The Gate. Like The Gate. You guys have seen The Gate, right?
Oh yeah.
I've seen clips of The Gate.
Like how they basically read an actual satanic incantation that opens the doorway to hell off of the real metal album.
Right.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it, Mike, because like it's like that band, I think you'd want that album.
I watched part of it with you with the claymation. You wanted to show me some scene of it.
Oh yeah.
And then that's all I remember.
He gets the eye in his hand, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The kid, Steven Dorff.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm because it came to my mind. I know we're trying to wrap it up. I was listening to the episode of Smartless, and they had the two main guys from Radiohead on there, and they were talking about both of them have scored movies besides being in the band Radiohead. Johnny Greenwood has worked with Paul Thomas Anderson mostly, and the other guy did something else. Doesn't matter. My point is, he was talking about. He's like, oh yeah, what I really liked. It's really fascinating. I started to learn is that you can put any music to any movie and turn off the original sound, and you can just recontextualize the whole thing. And it reminded me of you and I and Matt and somebody else having Slam Dunk Ernest on in the background, muted, while listening to the score of In the Mouth of Madness. And it was intense. It turned Slam Dunk Ernest into such like a heavy psychedelic.
Yeah, I remember because we were playing the game. We were playing the board game Zombies.
Yeah, or
it was like
that's right.
Zombies.
That's right.
Playing Zombies, and we kept every now and then we look up and we're like, this is like syncing up.
Yeah,
like shit was getting weirdly synced, and it was just like it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, it really worked. Like
like would there be like a slow-mo shot of the guy trying to make a basket, and that's right when the score would be like, it's like, what the hell?
It just all worked really well.
Dude,
for Slam Dunk Ernest too.
For fucking Slam. I mean, I don't think you could have that it's so disparate. The universe of In the Mouth of Madness and the universe of Slam Dunk Ernest.
Oh man, yeah.
So should we end on Slam Dunk Ernest?
No, I mean that brings it full circle. I mean,
it does.
It's funny because I was gonna say, do you guys want to plug anything? But I just realized the whole time we've talked about how you. I mean, do you have anything you want to plug?
I haven't made a new thing in a bit. I'm not gonna plug old stuff. I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
buy Rovner ligatures.
I mean, that's your work,
I know. That's all I got, Bob.
Well, Huey, fine. I'll plug this. Huey and I wrote a song. We put out a song together.
Yeah, we did.
It's called Disco Spy. You can find it on Bandcamp. There you go. That's what I'll plug because it's you and I.
Is it on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube?
Yeah, you put it on there. That's right.
I probably put it on YouTube. So yeah, Disco Spy by Hestus, Hestus.
Is that on your channel?
I think so. I didn't remember putting it up on YouTube, but
no, it was uploaded by Hestus.
Oh, okay. So we must have paid the money then to get it on Spotify and stuff, because that's why it's like that then.
Yeah.
We must have spent. It must be available on everything then. So there you go. There's the one plug.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because if we can't, if we plugged everything we've all made together, it'd be forever.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that applies to two of us. So there we go.
I have to look where that is. I'd link to it.
But there you go. But
pretty good song.
So it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I'll plug Soda Milk since I did that.
There you go, Soda Milk.
And Huey is in an episode, so it encompasses.
There we go.
Trifecta.
Yeah, and Bob is the one who you for that song. You're the one who mastered it, right?
No. I don't think he did. I hired somebody else to do the. Bob did do a post-master edit on it.
Yes.
I needed him to add a fade or something like that.
I knew it. Yeah, because
for some reason I couldn't do it. There's a reason I had to get Bob to do it, because I can do a fade.
It's weird that I had to do it.
Yeah. For some reason.
Wait, what else am I thinking of that we all did something on? I just had it on my mind. Oh, it's the Fallen Babies.
Fallen Babies.
Wasn't that partly Huey's idea?
The idea was Huey's, for sure, and a chunk of the lyrics as well.
So if you look up Fallen Babies,
if you're a fan of the game Destiny, you're in on in jokes.
Yeah,
I think I made that like right when I moved back home, Huey.
You did, I remember that.
Right,
and that was very successful for us. It got a lot of hits. It worked. It worked out.
Here it is. It's under Stettes Music. 7.6 thousand views for a joke that is
for a niche ass joke.
You have to know what Muppet Babies is, what the Destiny
the race of alien known as Fallen are from what game. Yeah, and then all the lyrics are
This is Stettes Music. Is Hestus on here? Is that the channel Hestus is on?
It's when you yes, for simplistic purposes, it probably is, yes.
Oh, this also has the video from Every Damn Time Destiny 2.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's something we all did together too.
Oh, that was fun, man.
Yeah, it was fun. It didn't do anything, but you gotta swing the hit.
It's almost 4,000 views.
All right,
that's something.
It's amazing.
I mean,
we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more Destiny song at some point, because we got to win 3 times. That's the goal is to win 3 times. And
yeah.
we've run twice now.
The old
So,
Triple Crown.
We got to get we got to get all 3.
God.
Because they
Got to get Pimlico rounded out.
I
I
don't see the Hestos thing on here. It's just your risky rafting and that, and then
It wouldn't be in Stettes music design. It would be its own channel.
If you Google it, you'll find it. I mean, not Google. If you search on YouTube, I just typed in Disco Spy. It came up. I didn't even type in Hestos. It was there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Disco Spy.
It's like a black, white, and red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it.
There you go.
Oh, and it's like uploaded from Spotify.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
right.
a topic. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because when I did that with the other album I did, I uploaded all the songs as well, but then Spotify or whatever the source you use, the platform you use, uploads it as well, and that's where those things where it says like topic, and then a band name. That's
why
that's
topic?
coming from.
I never understood that. Yeah.
I don't know why topic, but
comments are turned off.
when I uploaded my songs, they got copyright striked. And I'm like, hey, I own these, dude. And they were like, yeah, but bud, when you paid us to do this thing of uploading stuff, you gave us the permission to control the copyright on digital streaming. So we need to take a cut of your own videos because that's what you paid us to do, is to control the copyright to protect your shit. You know, I was like, yeah, I guess that's right. I get it. I get it.
So they're all copyright claimed?
I mean, they're still on, but you know, it says at the bottom, it's got the little thing like, got the, which is fine. I mean, you know, that's what I told them to do. So if somebody else were to take my song, they would be like, boop,
we got you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone go listen to Disco Spy.
Listen to Disco Spy.
Hestos.
There might be some more in the future, right, Mike? Maybe.
Yeah. I got some ideas. I got everything's cooking. And the Canadian songwriter I was working with has kind of blown me off, really teed me off because I put a ton of hours into that music. So definitely looking to jump into something else.
Cool.
All right. Well, there's that.
All right, guys.
It's
been real.
Thank you guys.
I always enjoy seeing you guys. You guys are like my favorite people to talk to. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Mike, you'll be on again, and Huey, there's going to be an Elves episode.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am in for the Elves episode. Obviously.
So Huey will be back.
Obviously,
and I'll find some asinine reason to get Mike back.
Cool.
But yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, guys.